The city of big shoulders, Chicago, Illinois, proud of their White Sox, powering through the American League Central with an 8.5 game lead on the Cleveland Indians. This is game one of this big 3-game series. Angels, the leaders in the West, White Sox, leaders in the Central, could meet in October. We are ready to play baseball, and Mark Buehrle will look at this Corona starting lineup. For the Angels, Sean Figgins to lead things off, then Orlando Cabrera. Last 22 road games, he has been strong, scoring 13 runs, and all from that 2 spot since moving from the 8 position in the lineup. Garrett Anderson will be the designated hitter, hitting third, then Vlad Guerrero, Bengie Molina, Erstad, Rivera, Quinlan, and Sorensen in for Adam Kennedy. Well, Mark Buehrle's the starting pitcher, and the pitcher is brought to you by The Man. Sony picture coming soon to you, and Mark Buehrle wearing that green numeral, green cap. It's halfway to St. Patrick's Day celebration here in Chicago, Illinois.
I like that. Go ahead. Celebrate that nice holiday. But Figgy gets under that one, pops it up. Dye's got a beat on it.
And there's one down to start this ball game.
All right, so Mark Buehrle now, he's a pretty tough foe. This guy, some of the keys for him is he works quickly. He holds runners very well. He's got a nice move to first base to help hold the Angels running game down. He keeps it simple. He works both sides of the plate, and he gives his defense a chance to stay in the game by the way he works quickly. 88 to 91 mile an hour fastball. He'll sink it, curveball, and a changeup. He'll cut the ball into righties and 4-seamers up in the zone.
He has been one of baseball's top left-handed starting pitchers through the years, and having another terrific year, 15-7, facing Orlando Cabrera. Cabrera went deep against his old team, the Boston Red Sox, in their most recently completed series when the Angels went 1-3. And you can see the Angels wearing that Red Cross decal on their helmets, commemorating the Red Sox, or the Red Cross service to the victims of the Gulf Coast.
I think it's great. All teams are doing that. 8 for 20 lifetime off Buehrle. This Cabrera.
Cabrera hits it in the air, left center field. Aaron Rowan settles under it and makes the catch, and they're 2 out now in the first inning.
Lexus defense behind Mark Buehrle, whom he relies on greatly. These White Sox are 5th in the league in fielding. And their catcher, A.J. Pierzynski, he's having a nice season behind the plate. Just 1 clank in 108 games. That's pretty good. Fielding percentage is outstanding.
Buehrle now to face the lefty Garrett Anderson. Gets strike 1 across with a good fastball. Garrett's batting average near that 290 mark, may go right there with a base hit to left field. So for Garrett Anderson, he's beginning to heat up. His extra base power is not there yet, Hud, but that's 11 hits his last 7 games.
It's nice. It makes him 7 for 32 with 1 homer now.
He's seeing better pitches since he moved to the 3 spot, and Vlad was pushed back to the cleanup position.
Yeah, you know, and Garrett's 4th in the league in batting average against left-handers, so I'm not surprised. He wears them out. He's hitting .345 this year, but he's going to need some help with Big Daddy Vladdy.
Well, this is Vlad Guerrero's first game against Chicago this year, and on the first pitch he lines a single to right field. Anderson will stay at second base. Jermaine Dye has a very strong arm, so the Angels with some 2-out rally after Figgins, Cabrera made out. Anderson and Vlad drop base hits.
Okay, this guy throws a lot of strikes. Okay, so he's looked at the fastball out over the plate on the corner. Vladdy just went with it, shortened up his swing. That's nice for the first at bat for Vladdy. Didn't try to do too much. Angels in Boston, they did do a lot of 2-out run scoring, so maybe they can continue that here. With Bengie Molina hitting .267 with runners in scoring position, a good time for a knock. Get to Buehrle. This guy's right around the plate. He doesn't walk very many guys.
And Bengie Molina has been the Angels' very best against left-handed pitching this year. .396 average with 5 home runs, and overall Bengie is just 6 points shy of the 300 mark. Been in a bit of a slide of late, just 6 hits last 37 at bats. To see that average go from 310 to 294. He swings and sends it into right center field. That will drop. Here comes Anderson. He will score. The throw is to third base, and Guerrero is safe. The Angels take a 1-0 lead on 3 consecutive singles by Anderson, Guerrero, and Molina.
Erstad has been hitting behind Vladdy the last couple games, but Mike put Benji there, and he comes through. Now he's a great low ball hitter, but he can sure hit that high one. Now that's above his belt. Touched it up just enough to fall in front of Dye. Good, solid base running, Angels style. Guerrero going into third base, nice pop-up slide. Halos with 2 outs, got a little magic working. That's what they want to do against Burley and these White Sox. Put the pressure on him.
Erstad takes strike one. The Angels on the scoreboard first in this 3-game series.
Burley has excellent command. He throws strikes. He doesn't mess around. He tries to nibble on the corners.
And Darren Erstad with a base hit to center field. Vlad Guerrero will score, and the Angels go in front 2-0. 4 straight singles by the Halos.
Frenzy hitting. 2 words that can describe what we're seeing here in this first inning the best. The Angels don't have a whole lot of power, people know that, but they'll single you to death. That's a good pitch down and in. These Angel hitters know they're going to get strikes, so they're being aggressive. This is a real nice game plan that Mickey Hatcher has for his hitters. Be aggressive early.
And Rex, these are 2 very similar teams. You check the statistics about Chicago and the Angels. Both teams like to run. Both teams like to hit and run, steal bases. But if there's one clear difference, it's that the Angels don't have Chicago's power. Chicago has 178 home runs, the Angels 122. But if there's a favor for the Angels, it's the fact that they are better with men in scoring position, and they have shown that in the first inning.
That's right. The Angels coming into tonight 292 with runners in scoring position. White Sox, they're 261. And you mentioned that their offense is 11th in the league, so they've been having some offensive problems as well, the White Sox, scoring runs. But they do have the best record in baseball and have been in first place the whole year. So they're good. They're getting it done with their pitching.
Rivera down in the count, 0-2. Burley has that outstanding changeup. Juan did not start in the Boston series as the Angels did not face a lefty, and Mike Scioscia has been going more with Juan against left-handers, even though he has hit right-handers well in his career.
Rivera 239 off of lefties. 3 homers.
A 1-2 count to Juan Rivera. Angels with 2 on the board. Their offense has been quiet of late, just 29 runs their last 10 games coming into this contest. They scored 3 yesterday. It was enough to beat the Red Sox.
It's going to have to hit a gapper to score Benji. Although Benji's been running a lot better lately. He beat out a big hit in Boston. Kept an inning alive. Ball was in the hole, and they did throw it to second before they threw to first, but he beat it out.
Let's don't go there.
No, I was pumping him up on the plane last night, talking about how fast he looked.
Out of play right side, so after Rivera was down in the count 0-2, he's fought back to even it at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Rivera always a strong second half player in his career. .315 with 10 home runs in his career in the month of September, trying to get on for that man Rob Quinlan.
Juan's been patient, waiting for Burley to come in there. He'll cut that fastball in on righty's hands. Got the changeup and the curve. Changeup's a pitch he uses more to righties. There it was there.
Popped him up. Center field, Aaron Rowan, or the shortstop, and it is the shortstop, Juan Uribe, calling him off. But the Angels get 4 straight hits. Garrett Anderson, Vlad Guerrero, Benji Molina, and Darren Erstad, and take a 2-0 lead on Chicago. Take the early lead on the Chicago White Sox here at US Cellular Field in Chicago, Illinois. And let's check out the SBC starting lineups for Chicago. Pablo Ozuna will lead things off. Tadahito Iguchi will bat second, and Carl Everett. Paul Konerko has been terrific all year long with 36 home runs, 89 driven in, and 4 big flies in his last 5 games. Aaron Rowan is 5th, then Jermaine Dye, A.J. Pierzynski, Juan Uribe, and Jeff Blum. Here is Pablo Ozuna. He goes after the very first pitch he sees from Jared Washburn and fouls it out of play. Strike 1. Wash has been terrific this year, even though his record is 7-8. He is up there in the top 10 and earned run average this year. His problem is he hasn't received much run support. There's a line drive, and Sorensen has it and makes a terrific play to throw out Ozuna. I'm so used to saying Kennedy at second base because he's been there all year, but Sorensen giving him a day off. And how about this?
That's Zach Sorensen checking in early. This is what you want to do if you're a fielder and you had your first start. Get that tough play out of the way. Now you got confidence the rest of the way. Nice play, giving Kennedy an off day against the lefty Burley. Mike Scioscia says that, hey, Sorensen is a guy that can help us periodically, and he already did right there for Wash.
He only had 5 starts at second base at AAA Salt Lake City, and the Carl's Jr. starting pitcher Jared Washburn, 3.18 earned run average.
That's the impressive part, but when you have 11 no decisions, your record is going to show it. And that Washburn's not concerned about his record. He wants to help this team win and keep them in games, and he's great at doing that. Tough mental makeup. Fastball, he'll go 88 to 91 with that fastball. He's got a slider and a changeup and a split finger. And the White Sox lost to a left-hander yesterday that topped out at 85 miles an hour. So changeups and off-speed is going to work against this ball club. There he powered Higuchi away.
And strikes him out.
Ricoh Corp defense behind Washburn. Orlando Cabrera's been steady all season long. He's #1 in fielding percentage, leads all shortstops. Also Kennedy not in there, but Sorensen in there, Erstad, they're looking good defensively. Washburn, used to be last few years a predominantly fly ball pitcher. Now because he's bringing in that split finger and changeup more, he's getting more ground ball outs.
Carl Everett, the batter, and he pops it up left side. Orlando Cabrera is under it. And Washburn with a 1-2-3 first inning. The Angels take a 2-0 lead at #2 here in Chicago. Angels have a 2-0 lead over the Chicago White Sox. For some reason, Chicago wearing the green caps. We were unsure because St. Patrick's Day is in the spring, and here we are almost to the fall, but they're calling this halfway to St. Patrick's Day. They had bagpipes here before the ball game, guys dressed in kilts, even though that's a little Scottish, but still same area, United Kingdom.
You'd think it was St. Patty's Day, but
halfway.
That'll tell you how large that holiday is here, man. They had guys parachuting in, wearing green outfits, and had the American flag flown in.
Their kilts were flying up.
Well, whatever it is, it's working for the Angels. They're putting some pressure on Burley, especially in that first inning.
Angels sent 7 men to the plate, scored 2 times. Rob Quinlan, the batter. Rob off the disabled list. He was there from July 1st through August 23rd. Had tightness and disc problem left side of his neck and left shoulder. Waves at that offering, and Burley strikes him out. So Quinlan in an 0 for 16 after a really hot start. Well, here's what we were talking about before the ball game, part of the celebration of halfway to St. Patrick's Day. Mark Burley saying, "What's this all about?" And they figured it out. We had the queen of the court here, and here is the parachutist coming in.
Got to be careful in one of those things in the Windy City.
Ooh, I'll say.
The wind has been down today, but usually at game time it picks up some, and you could see the flags a little bit blowing in.
Burley will face Zach Sorensen, getting his second start of the year. Made one earlier this season in early July at Minnesota. Started at third base. He tried to check his swing and fouls it off. It's 1-2. But Zach's 28 years old, out of Salt Lake City. Went to Wichita State. Had an outstanding year there and was drafted in the second round by Cleveland. Bounced around through the minor leagues and now up with the Angels. Had a solid year this year at Salt Lake, hitting .303.
Looking for a batting average.
Tries to dump that one to right, but goes right at the first baseman, Jeff Blum, for the second out. Well, Mark Burley has been an outstanding pitcher, and just a few seasons ago when Burley was won 19 games in 2002. The Sox traded for the Angels Bartolo Colon. Colon at that time was with Montreal, and Burley was so ecstatic, Rex, he called manager Jerry Manuel. He didn't see himself as an ace. He wanted to pitch behind Colon, saying he was the ace with the top stuff. But in spring training, Colon would greet him every single day by calling him Grand Chef, the big chief.
That's right.
And Burley's become the big chief here,
well,
even
sure.
though they have Freddie Garcia.
Hey, when you win 15 games, 4 out of your last 5 years, you're the man. That's pretty good. Burley's tough.
He just wanted to be in Colon's shadow. And Bartolo was here half the season, or actually that one full season in 2003, and then joined the Angels last year, won 18, and he's won 18 again. Colon is scheduled to go tomorrow, but that is a major question mark. It'll be John Garland against Colon or Joe Saunders. Well, Burley walks John Figgins, so this will be interesting. You've got a guy who has tremendous speed, second in the American League in stolen bases, against Mark Burley, who has one of the best pickoff moves in the game.
Well, listening to Ozzie Guillen before the game give his press conference, he talked about the Angels and how difficult they were to play against, and that they're so much alike as far as their styles go on offense. He mentioned Sean Figgins, and he said, Sean Figgins, I'm going to have my people watch him this whole weekend here in Chicago, and if he makes one bad move, I'm going to have him arrested and thrown in jail so that he can't beat us.
But there's that sneaky move by Burley. And Ozzie Guillen is a guy who's been ripping off bases. The Angels have been 1-2 with the White Sox in Tampa Bay much of this year. He's second to Scott Podsednik just by 8 steals. Podsednik likely to be in there. Well, maybe not tomorrow, because if Saunders goes, they may stay away from Podsednik. We'll see.
We're not exactly sure Saunders will go either. Escobar, I'm not sure if they're going to use him or just keep him for the bullpen, but Mike Scioscia let us know, I think, probably after the game tonight. But Brzezinski on the year, the catcher, he's thrown out 22% of runners. But when Burley's pitching, he's throwing out 42%. You could see Figgy was going back to the base, as Burley shows a lot of different looks to the runner. Burley went with a full leg kick. He brought his leg all the way up. Figgy thought he was going to try to trick him and throw it over. That's what makes it difficult to steal off a left-hander. Whenever you have a variety of different looks, basically you're on your own as a base runner. And lots of times after seeing a couple, 2 or 3 moves, you'll just go on his first movement.
Comes inside, a good running count here, good hitting count as well for Orlando Cabrera. Cabrera with a 6-game hit streak, batting .333 in that time. He's raised his average to .256. He really feels this is his time. This is a guy with a great deal of poise and understanding of what his abilities are. But he pops it up. This should be the final out of the second inning for the Angels, and making the catch, the second baseman Tadahito Iguchi, and that will do it for the Halos against Burley in the second. Angels have a 2-0 lead over the Chicago White Sox, and the Shelter from the Storm, a concert for the Gulf Coast, is coming your way. It's a 1-hour special to raise funds for the victims of Hurricane Katrina following tonight's Angels game. Paul Simon will be there, along with Garth Brooks, U2, Neil Young, Sheryl Crow, Randy Newman, and many more. It is really wonderful to see how this country and other countries have come together to support those that have suffered so much down in Hurricane Katrina, and that includes the Angels. Vlad Guerrero and David Ortiz of the Red Sox yesterday both have donated $50,000 each for the hurricane relief effort. They did it to inspire other Dominican players to give, because the U.S. has always been there to help the Dominican Republic in their time of need following hurricanes. And I thought that was a wonderful story, and I congratulated Vladdy for doing that and thanked him very much. And his comment simply was, thank you. You know, he's just a very warm, wonderful guy, but he just remembers the hurricanes that wiped out his village in Bani, the Dominican Republic, and he said the United States was the first country to support us, so I wanted to be there as well.
Well, he's one of the top sluggers in the American League, and so is Konerko. And those guys are one of the 12 finalists for the Hank Aaron Award presented by Century 21. 6 players from each league will vie for the best overall offensive performance honor. Konerko's there. Look at those numbers. Power numbers.
Washburn got ahead of him and now throws a pitch just a little bit wide. Konerko, tremendous power numbers this year. 36 home runs, 89 driven in. He now has 199 home runs as a member of the White Sox. Wash tries to get him on a high fastball.
Konerko looks like he's trying to push it to the right side over there and swinging it. He's had some success off of Washburn in the past. He's 11 for 34 with 3 big flies.
And he has been very hot of late. He had a 12-game hit streak end yesterday and had 4 straight games with home runs. Just said he's seeing the ball better, feeling comfortable at the plate, and he hopes that carries on towards the playoffs because Chicago came in with an 8.5 game lead on the Cleveland Indians. The Indians have taken the wild card lead over New York by a half game and 1.5 over Oakland. In the dirt, the A's tonight at Texas. Barry Zito against Juan Dominguez. A's snapped that 4-game losing streak the other day against Seattle. They had yesterday off.
Now the White Sox, they are 11th in the league in batting average, but they're 3rd in the league in home runs, so they've got guys who can pop it out of the yard. Got 178 homers. Angels have 122.
To right field. That's a base hit. Guerrero gets to it quickly. He's got a chance. There's the throw. Safe.
Boy, that's a tremendous at-bat by Konerko to lead off here in the 2nd inning for the White Sox. He's been looking that way. Okay, there's a fastball up, out over. A lot of guys will try to pull that pitch, but Konerko had in mind in this whole at-bat how looks like he was shooting the ball that way. He had an idea to go there, and that's a good approach against a guy who's not overpowering. Talked about it yesterday. Vladdy with a nice try on the throw. If he puts it right over the bag, they might have gotten him. But Konerko, he's not blessed with great speed. He earned that one. 20 doubles.
Well, let's see if Chicago plays the Angels style of baseball and Rowan tries to hit behind or sacrifice, and Aaron showing a bunt, pulls it back and still takes strike 1.
He's a former Cal State Titan. They can do the little things. Rowan's having a nice season. He has cooled off some lately, but that's a pretty good season. Getting a chance to play every day out there.
And he tries to bunt it, bunts it foul, and now he's down to the count 0-2. So it's Washburn with the options as he's going for the strikeout. And Rowan has struck out 106 times this year, and his home runs are down as well.
A little bit too long of a swing. Okay, you want to be able to get this down. Now his bat, didn't have his arms fully extended. You want to, if you're going to push it like that, you got to get your arms out. You can't have your elbows bent and have the bat in close to your chest, or you're going to do just what he did. Going to see it out front. Now he's going to shorten up his swing if he can. Washburn knows the situation. With nobody out, runner out there at second base. Rowan wants to take a swing to right field, and Washburn's coming in with a fastball.
And apparently they called the first pitch a ball. Thought I saw the umpire Ron Culper raise his arm on a pitch that was taken by Rowan, but it's a 2-1 count now. He almost had a pick a play on. In the air, right field. Guerrero racing over and pulls it down. Konerko will tag at second, go to third, and make it safely. 1 out. Well, Rowan did what he wanted to do, hit it to the right side, deep and up in the air to get Paul to third base.
Testing Vladimir out there early in this game.
Ozzie Guillen has done a great job. He replaced Jerry Manuel here, the 37th manager in White Sox history, and very energetic. He says he's not afraid to fail. Says, hey, if I get fired, I'll just go home, do something else, but I am not going to play somebody else's style because of pressure, the pressure of winning, and all he's done here is win with Chicago.
Guillen was just talking to him about that bunt. Make sure you get your hands out. That's what he was telling him. Now Jermaine Dye, he's had a nice season. 27 dingers, 73 RBIs. They've got him down in that 6th spot.
He was with the A's last year. Completely healthy this year. He's had some leg problems in his past.
So with one out, Scioscia's got his infielders back. So really it's a pretty easy RBI opportunity for Dye, even though Konerko doesn't run that well. They'll play him in. I mean, play him back. You never know. A hard shot, Cabrera and those guys might take a look at home. Gets a ball hit to him, one hopper in the infield.
This is the time Washburn wants to get that strikeout. Dye, though, pops it up. This will not be deep enough to score Konerko as Cabrera takes care of Jermaine Dye, and that's the second out of the second inning. Quality pitch on 0-2 by Jared Washburn.
Well, it was a hanger. Actually, it was a good pitch to drive out of the yard, and Dye just missed it. You know, Dye's not going to be very happy with himself there because he had a pitch he could have knocked that run home with. He just got a little happy. He saw it big and took a big rip and got under it.
But it was a different speed that Washburn had been showing Jermaine Dye. Missed the pitch, and now A.J. Pierzynski will come to the plate, who has yet to get a hit against Washburn in his career. 0 for 5. Now he was thinking about bunting it. The Angels did have Erstad well back at first base, and Quinlan was only a couple of steps behind the bag, about 10 feet off the third base bag. A.J. became a dad on Monday. His wife gave birth to a daughter, Ava Jordan, in Orlando, Florida. Congratulations, A.J. He pops it up left side. Cabrera with Rivera coming on, and Juan calls off Orlando and makes the catch. of Washburn with some clutch pitching after a leadoff double by Paul Konerko. It's game one at U.S. Cellular Field in Chicago, Illinois. A crowd of better than 30,000 on hand for the Angels and the White Sox. And back second time through the order for Mark Buehrle. He will face Garrett Anderson, who started the trouble for him in the first by singling to left field. Anderson single was followed by a Guerrero single, and that was followed by Molina and Erstad, who dropped base hits, and Molina and Erstad drove in runs. Now to play left side by Garrett. And now he is down in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes to Mark Buehrle.
Garrett's starting to get his timing back now after missing 8 games. Now he's been in the lineup, several times since he's been back, but it takes time in a timing game to get your rhythm. Garrett's when he struggled a little bit, it's because he's out on his front foot. He's got that tendonitis in that back leg. That's the leg that hitters sit on. So sometimes it can be painful. Now Garrett says everything's fine, but just watching him at times, he seems to get up on that front foot a little bit.
Checks his swing. Did he go? He did not, says third base umpire Tim Tashita. Our home plate umpire is Ron Culpa. Dan Iasonia at first base. Dale Scott at second, and third base is Tim Tashita. Of course, Mike Scioscia was tossed out of 2 games in the Boston series. He's been thrown out of 3 games this year, all 3 at Fenway Park. Anderson hits one to Iguchi, and there's 1 man out. Well, for every home run that an Angel hits tonight, Coors Brewing Company will make a donation to Navidad and El Barrio. Navidad and El Barrio delivers more than 20,000 food baskets to needy families in Southern California each year. Angels hope to go deep. They've got a guy with tremendous power at the plate now, and Vladimir Guerrero. Strike 1.
Buehrle threw that little slider in there.
Yeah, he pitched Guerrero away, and he went that way to right field and sent it just past Konerko at first base. Chops one to third. Pablo Ozuna is there. Goes out Vlad, 2 out.
Ozuna, he's been filling in for Joe Crede. Creedy's been their everyday third baseman most of the year until Crede tried to bunt in up at the Metrodome against the Twins, and the ball was up and in on him, and it hit his middle finger on his throwing hand on the bat, so that put him on the DL. Now he's due to be activated, I believe, tomorrow, but Ozuna's done a nice job.
Molina sends it foul.
What makes Buehrle so difficult to square up is that you can't really sit on one pitch. He's not going to try to repeat pitches with the same speed. He's very good at changing speeds and working that change up in off of righties, cutters in on their hands. And that cutter can be a difficult pitch because it breaks maybe an inch or two. It starts out on the inner half and then ends up breaking your bat lots of times.
Again, got it in enough on Bengie Molina that he couldn't do much with it. But Buehrle all of a sudden working ahead in the count. It looked like typical start by an outstanding starting pitcher. If you're going to get to him, you better get to him early. And the Angels did after he got the first 2 halos out. 4 straight singles by Anderson, Guerrero, Molina, and Erstad. Scored 2. And really strong since. He was brilliant in the first half, going 10-3 with a 2.58 earned run average going to the All-Star game. Bengie to right field. Jermaine Dye trots back near the track and pulls it down for the final out of the 3rd inning. Angels have a 2-0 lead on the Chicago White Sox. And Angels fans, are you searching for that perfect back-to-school binder? How about a stadium-exclusive Angels binder that you can't buy anywhere? All you have to do is head out to the ballpark on September 17th, where all fans ages 2 through 18 will receive a free Angels binder courtesy of Chevrolet and Radio Disney AM 1110. Binder features Darren Erstad, Adam Kennedy, Sean Figgins, and many more. Just log on to angelsbaseball.com and purchase your tickets now. Angels will be coming home after this trip to Chicago and then on to Seattle. They have their final regular season homestand of the year, and that will be against Detroit, Texas, Tampa Bay. Still are some great seats available for that Texas Rangers series, and that's within the division.
Uribe last night went 0 for 4. That snapped his 7-game hitting streak. This guy had been on fire. He was 13 for 23 with 3 doubles, a triple, 3 homers, and 8 ribbies during that streak. Raised his average from 238 to 257, so he's been on the climb. 306 hitter against lefties.
They had a great story on him today in the Chicago Tribune of his growth in the Colorado Rockies organization, where he was the Keystone combination teammate of Sean Figgins. Now, that was not part of the story, but I did talk to Sean, who said Juan Uribe helped teach me Spanish and I helped teach him English, but he has really blossomed.
Oh, he's got some nice numbers for a shortstop.
Out of play.
But Washburn, he's got to be pretty pleased with those 2 runs he's got early in that 1st inning. He was 6th in the American League in lowest run support before this started, 3.77 runs per game.
Well, the Angels' strength and what will get them to the postseason will be their starting pitching. It has been rock solid since day 1. And Paul Byrd, who was tremendous last night, 7 shutout innings, handing the Red Sox the best offense in the American League and arguably in all of baseball, only their 4th shutout of the season. Mike Scioscia got it from Paul Byrd, Scott Shields, Francisco Rodriguez. There's Paul, who's been lights out his last 2 starts.
Boy, talk about knowing how to change speeds and how to win games. And Bird's been solid this year. Keeps his team in the game. Uribe, he's having some kind of at bat off of Washburn. Wash is trying to find a way to get one by him or just retire him on outs. One of the reasons is Washburn's improved so much this year is he's like Paul Byrd. He's taken a little bit off of his pitches. It used to be he told me that he tried to throw a no-hitter to each guy. But that's part of maturing as a pitcher, knowing, hey, look, forget about the velocity and trying to get the guy. Let's just get outs. Let's not worry about a no-hitter unless men get on base. Then I'm going to focus a little more.
Uribe battling him and now has worked a 3-2 count. And Juan doesn't walk very much. There's 26 walks this year. Washburn's been teasing him, but Uribe getting a little more comfortable. But Byrd, part of a terrific rotation, one of the tops in the American League. And then he just challenges him, and Uribe wins that challenge by lining a single to left field.
Well, that's what you do after the guy's fouled off a ton of pitches. You just go ahead and take your chances. Get him out. So Uribe won that one.
Now Chicago will see the way the Angels in Washburn control the running game. Here's Jeff Blum, only hitting .203 this year. Tries to sacrifice, and this is much the style of the Angels. Hit and run, sacrifice, steal bases.
But if you're going to sacrifice, you don't want to be running out of the box. Looked like Blum was trying to place it and run at the same time.
Angels have a Gold Glove first baseman in Erstad, a quality defensive pitcher in Jared Washburn. Rob Quinlan has been solid at third base this year, but that is not his natural position. It has been first base, but Rob played it well. 1-1 count. Let's see if the Angels move him in. He is starting at the edge of the grass, and then as Washburn gets ready, he's starting to back up. Well, now swinging away, and Quinlan has it. Across the diamond it goes. A heck of a play by Rob, or that may have scored a run. It's a good thing he backed up, Hud.
Yeah, because that ball would have been on him a lot hotter, but still, you know, when you play third base, you want a big glove. Okay, and that's why, right there, you use all the glove you can. He looked at second base, made the right decision to go to first and get the out. That's one heck of a play. When you're playing third and a left-hander's pitching, you're going to get a lot of action, especially with the right-handed batters that are usually dominated in the lineup to try to get the lefty. A lot of off-speed pitches will be pulled down to the hot corner.
Sox have hit Washburn hard to open this inning. Uribe with a shot to left, and now Blum robbed of a base hit by Rob Quinlan. And here's Pablo Ozuna. He may be your hero for a day, Pablo Ozuna. He stole home last night, and I know how much you appreciate guys who do that. Oh. Popped up, Erstad takes care of it.
Yeah, he did. Pitcher threw over to first base. A nice little, hey, look, no problem, I'm going to throw over. And Ozuna, this is what you have to plan this. He got a big lead, and then the minute he threw to first base, he took off, and that's heads up. But you have to do some planning in order to do that.
Meanwhile, in Texas, Oakland has a 4-0 lead. Kotsay hit a home run. He's back from that back problem, and Mark Ellis also went deep, and the A's have a 4-0 lead on Texas in the bottom of the third inning. Well, Texas has really just fallen apart. They were in contention with the Angels for the first 2.5 months of the season, and then their starting pitching and their bullpen caught up with them. And the Rangers are now 69 and 71, 9.5 games out. They played a little better lately, winning 7 of their last 10, but they've got to do something about that pitching staff for 2006. Tadahito Iguchi. He'll lift that front leg. Timing advice that you see so often from Japanese players that began with Sadaharu Oh, maybe the greatest Japanese player of all time.
They call that a flamingo style, and he gets a lot of his base hits to right field. Vladdy playing him deep to the corner and right. That's where he's been hitting most of his homers. As you can see, he's a little bit late on that swing. So they know this with all the hitting charts they get in the scouting reports before the series starts. They sit down and they talk about each hitter and how they're going to defend him, how they're going to pitch him. Iguchi's a .273 hitter off of lefties with 5 homers. Washburn has the knack to make the pitch when it counts with runners out there.
Joe Madden told us the other day, Rex, Jared Washburn, probably more than any pitcher he's been around, has a great in-game feel for making adjustments, and the correct ones. Really great competitor who understands the game.
No, he's not your typical rookie, even though he's leading in a lot of offensive categories.
There's Joe Madden, the Angels bench coach. He skips away from Molina, but not far enough.
He said he went.
He did, and Iguchi is complaining to home plate umpire Ron Copa. I don't think he went, but he's called out on strikes, and the Angels infielders and outfielders are racing off the field.
Well, heck, you know, sometimes you don't get the calls like in Boston, but they come back to you here. Ooh, Angels will take it.
Mark Buehrle, a quick worker, has already thrown one pitch to Darren Erstad. Comes across, and Darren lines a single to left field. So Erstad is 2 for 2 to open this game. A single up the middle to drive in a run. Now he stayed with the pitch from Buehrle and singles to left field. Well, it's Aflac trivia time, and it's about starting pitchers. Jared Washburn's with the Angels for a long time, including winning a world championship in 2002. He's 8th in club history with 181 career starts. Who are the Angels' top 3? We'll give you the answer later in the ball game.
Got to go with longevity for the answers there. But first pitch strikes is what most pitchers try to do. So that's why Erstad was able to get that base hit. He got a pitch early. Now there's a hard cutter in on Rivera.
One that'd love to see this guy get hot in September. That is his history. Hit .324 this year in the month of August. And they chase Erstad back to first base. Darren with 10 steals this year.
Juan Rivera, 280 hitter off of righties this year. Lefties 239. That's kind of the way his career has gone, though. He has a better career average against right-handers than left-handers. And it's hard to explain that, except that he has a real nice inside-out swing. And that helps when he's facing righties. When they break that ball away from you, you're able to wait long enough and get the base hits to right field. Talked about 3 of his 11 home runs have come off of lefties. But the Angels offense, they don't want to stop. They want to try to just see if they can drive one out of the park, get that score up there a little bit, take some pressure off of Washburn and the bullpen later.
Buehrle doesn't give up many home runs. There's a ground ball hit right to the shortstop. Taylor made 6-4-3 double play. Well, Mark Buehrle, that is one of the real compliments that he has received this year. His ability to get the double play when he needs it this year. And opponents have hit into the second most double plays this year, 27 times now. Here's Rob Quinlan.
When you have that sinker, you know, and you throw it 80% of the time, you're going to get a lot of ground balls on that. Juan Rivera, that's the 13th time he's hit into a double play this year. It's a high mark. Vladdy has him by 1 in 14.
And Juan Rivera, not a great bunter, so you wonder if the Angels had a situational hitter, if they would have moved Erstad to second base in that type of a situation with the bottom of the order coming up, and the Angels with not much power this year. Quinlan bounces one to Pablo Ozuna, and he throws out Rob. The Angels are done in the 4th. They hold a 2-0 lead over Mark Buehrle and Chicago.
A game recap. Washburn, he's been getting a little bit of help, not only with his strong arm, but with his defense. Early, look at that. Sorensen stretches out, filling in for Kennedy, and Quinlan with a real nice play at third base. Our game recap is brought to you by Bank of America, the official bank of baseball.
Starting pitching and defense, that has been an Angel theme in the second half. Their offense has been a little bit quiet. Bullpen has been roughed up, but one thing that the Angels have been able to count on every single game is the guys on the hill and the guys behind the starting pitchers. We have the second fewest errors in the American League with just 74. And here's Carl Everett for the second time. He popped up to short his first time up. Dangerous batter, particularly from this side of the plate, better than .300 average. Batting versus southpaw pitchers, and good power lately. 16 home runs, 50 driven in the last 2.5 months of the season.
No, but he's a guy that has totally different stances from the right side to the left side. Right-handed, batting right-handed, he closes up his stance. Left-handed, he opens his stance. A lot of times switch hitters will have the same approach and same mechanics from both sides of the plate, but not this guy.
Orlando Cabrera, nice hop for him. 2 out, or excuse me, 1 out. Let's go to that Aflac trivia question, Rex. It was about Jared Washburn and starting pitching. He has thrown a lot for the Halos. As a matter of fact, he's 8th in club history with 181 career starts. Who are the Angels' top 3? And the answer is,
I got to go with Chuck Finley somewhere.
You bet. He's got to be right at the top, and he is. 379 because he's the all-time winningest pitcher, passing Nolan Ryan when he was with the Halos. And Mike Witt with 272.
Nolan, I didn't know he had that many, but you were right. You told me that.
Well, you know what? He was in that era when he would throw 40 to 41, 42 starts a year. So he was really racking them up. And then Mike Witt was with the club. Even though Ryan threw 4 no-hitters for the Angels, Witt has the only perfect game. He had that perfect game in the 80s. That was just outstanding towards the end of the season. We also have to ask the question, who has the best starting rotation, Angels or White Sox? Chicago has Garland, Hernandez, Garcia, Burley, Contreras, and even rookie pitcher Brendan McCarthy. And the Angels have their top 5 with a rookie Santana. Paul Bird, Colon, Escobar, Lackey, Washburn have been terrific, and of course Santana with Escobar out. He's been terrific. Konerko has always been strong against the Angels in his career. That is whack foul, but boy, he has been on everything. He had a great AB his first time up, Hud. You could tell he was right field conscious and wound up with a double to right field.
So now, with that success he had in that last at bat, Washburn's going to make some adjustments, try to come in. So Konerko, he's thinking right along with Washburn here. Hitters always try to think about how that pitcher's going to try to get him out. From at bat to at bat. Now Benji calling for a fastball. See how he's looking? Catchers will look at the hitter before they put the sign down lots of times to see where the hitter's standing. Maybe that will tell the catcher what he's looking for. Sometimes when they go up in the box, they expect a breaking ball, or when they move back with their feet. Watch Benji look at him at the last minute. So he checked his feet.
He wanted the slider.
And Brzezinski's been doing the same thing against Angel hitters. Wash might throw maybe just 10 split fingers a game. He doesn't throw a whole lot of them. Changeup really is his bread and butter against right-handers. Righties have hit 280 with 13 homers off of Washburn this year. Lefties 267 with 4.
Off speed. Hit in the air, center field. Figgins off to the races, and it is up against the wall. He's on everything. Back-to-back doubles for Paul Konerko in this game, and both to the opposite field. Man, he is swinging a hot bat.
Now, you got to be strong to be able to be off balance like that and just throw your hands to the opposite field. Okay, there was a breaking ball on the outside part of the plate. He waited, and he took his hands right down to the ball. Powered it to the alley. So he's looking in, but he's protecting away. He's having some good at-bats. Same situation in inning 2 when he doubled, but it was nobody out. Rowan's up now. He's a .315 hitter with runners in scoring position. He's going to look to try to get one through the infield.
Washburn came after him with a fastball and one right at 90 miles an hour. Aaron skied one to right with Konerko at second base, and the catch was made by Vlad Guerrero deep in that right side area in foul territory, and Paul was able to get to third base in the play. That lefty by Kansas City yesterday, Howell got him 4 times, including 3 strikeouts, as they limited the White Sox to just 2 hits in the game.
J.P. Howell, young pitcher.
And he had come in, I think, like 1-7 into that game with a high ERA.
He's a guy who's a soft tosser, too. I think his fastball, his hardest fastball thrown yesterday was 85 miles an hour. So he was really using his off-speed pitches. Now Washburn, he knows all about that. He knows this is a good fastball hitting team, and he's going to try to keep them off balance best he can. Likes to make his pitches in situations like this with the runner in scoring position.
3 balls, 1 strike. Rowan doesn't walk very much, just 24 walks this year to go against his 106 strikeouts.
He'll be looking for a good pitch to hit here. With Jermaine Dye hitting in back of him with 27 home runs, that's some pretty solid protection for Rowan.
Missed with the high fastball, and the first walk of the game by Jared Washburn. Hey, these last few days we've all seen the devastating effects of Hurricane Katrina along the Gulf Coast. If you want to help the victims, you can make donations by going to SalvationArmyUSA.org or call 1-800-SAL-ARMY. You can also go to redcross.org or call 1-800-HELP-NOW. If you experience delays, please be patient because so many people are trying to contact these organizations. And that's why the Angels and the White Sox are wearing Red Cross decals on their helmets.
Okay, Wash wanting to keep the ball away from Dye. Dye almost touched him up his last at bat. An 0-2 pitch. Washburn changed up on him, but it was up in the zone. He popped him up. Jermaine Dye's hit into 13 double plays this year. Wash would love to make it 14 here.
Started him up in the zone. Chicago lost yesterday to Kansas City 4-2, but that ended a 7-game win streak. They've been playing very good baseball. 12-5 last 17. A little bit low. That was the pitch he tried to get Dye to swing at and roll it over, but he missed too badly in the dirt. Konerko with a 1-out double. Rowan just walked on a 3-1 count.
Dye's very confident off Washburn. 16 for 37, couple homers.
In the air, right center field. Vlad Guerrero at the wall. It's off the wall. Konerko will score. Right behind him is Aaron Rowan. And this game is tied. And safe at third is Jermaine Dye.
Okay, Mike Scioscia is going to come out and argue, saying that Rowan passed Konerko. Okay, these guys were really close on the bases. Vladdy, he ran all he could to try to get this ball. I thought it was going to leave the yard. Fastball out over the plate. Dye thought he got it even. Look how he kind of took a little trot there. Vladdy couldn't get it. Now, good backup by Sean Figgins as he's right there. Okay, look at the runners there. Now, they're right next to each other. Konerko was saying, hey, back off me, Rowan. You're too close. But Mike Scioscia's argument's not going to work. Nice relay play as Dye gets in with a triple. 1 out. Ties it up.
The Angels scored their 2 runs back in the first inning on 4 straight singles. Now the walk comes back to hurt Jared Washburn after a 3-1 count to Aaron Rowan. He walked him. He comes home to tie the game after Konerko scored the first in the double by Jermaine Dye. A.J. Pierzynski did not go.
Scioscia's infield is in. Hoping to cut that run down at the plate.
One and one.
Pierzynski, he's the kind of hitter that usually sprays the ball all over. He's got a little pop. 18 big flies. Wash staying away.
This time he did go.
It's a good sweeping slider right there. That slider, if it starts out right over the middle of the plate and then looks good to the hitter, breaks off like it did, that's what you get. Half swing.
Washburn did a great job getting out of James in the second and third inning. Too good a pitch for Jermaine Dye. Bounces that one, and Sorensen has it. Dye's coming home. Zach gets the man at first base, but Chicago takes the lead at 3-2.
That's a nice play by Sorensen. With the infield in like this, you don't have a whole lot to do when that ball is hit to you, but knock it down and try. Now, Dye wasn't coming home on contact, but once he sees this play, Jermaine Dye took off. Nice recovery by Sorensen as he couldn't find the handle first time around. That can be frustrating at times when you can't find it, but he did.
White Sox have their first lead of the game, and here's Juan Uribe crushing one right center field, and it is gone.
Seems like they are really waiting on Washburn's off-speed pitches, but it doesn't help that they're elevated. If they're elevated, they're going to be able to drive them to the opposite field just like that. Okay, look at Uribe. He's waiting. All those, the damage has been done have been pitches located right there in that same spot. Dye, exact same pitch, except Uribe got a little bit more on it. So Washburn hasn't had good command with that fastball in this inning. They dropped the 4 spot in the 4th on it here.
And they have really hit the ball hard. A double, a triple, a home run. Now he's facing Jeff Blum. Well, Chicago's difference offensively is that they have the power. The Angels do not. That is the clear difference between the Angels and Chicago. The White Sox with 179 home runs now to the Angels 122, and they have hit for the cycle in this inning. A single by Jeff Blum to go with Konerko's double, Dye's triple, Uribe's home run. And the White Sox with 4 on the board in the 4th inning. Buddy Black comes out for a visit with Jared Washburn. As the Angels and White Sox, this is game 8 this year, and this is the final meeting, final series of the year. They split it to Big A May 23rd through the 26th and lost 2 of 3 in Chicago at the end of May and beginning of June. Well, next Friday, the Angels invite all their fans to the dance and dance their way to the gates of the Big A. As the Angels take on the Tigers, they will also be celebrating their Hispanic heritage, and all fans in attendance will be greeted with mariachi and a commemorative Hispanic heritage poster featuring the Angels' Hispanic players, coaches, and broadcasters, courtesy of Pepsi, Doritos, Ralph's, and Kleenex. Log on to angelsbaseball.com and purchase your tickets now. There's a look at the beautiful salute to Hispanic heritage and the poster that you'll receive.
Great shot. Jose Mota and Ivan Lara made it up in the corners.
I was looking for him and I didn't find him until the very end. There's a breaking ball to Pablo Ozuna. Jared Washburn pitched so well of late. 7 straight quality starts, including the last 2 where he gave up just 3 runs in 14 innings. But 4 runs allowed in just the 4th inning of this contest, and that streak will come to an end.
Yeah, Bud Black probably just told him, hey, Wash, your fastball's up a little bit. Just try to keep it down some. Get that arm back out over your lower half. Nice change up there.
Ozuna robbed of a base hit on an outstanding play by Zach Sorensen to open the game, and popped up to first baseman Darren Erstad in his last at bat. Chicago had won 7 straight before yesterday and averaged over 6 runs per game in that stretch. Runner goes, and they've got him picked off. There's the throw, and it hits the runner. It will go as a stolen base by Jeff Blum.
Well, Wash had him picked off. Toughest thing to do is to throw down there without hitting that runner, because it's a fine line. First basemen want to try to clear themselves, maybe come inside the line a little bit. That's all you can do. That ball not going the Angels' way in this inning here.
Boy, they are so much like the Angels, the way they run. The way they run their runners with 2 out and with pitchers count. Ozuna does not bite. Oh, they're showing great plate discipline against Jared Washburn. Washburn struck out 2 in the game. Foul. That one was also up in the strike zone.
Too bad Erstad will get charged with an error on that. That's his 4th.
Won a Gold Glove last year. Washburn now has thrown 80 pitches. He strikes out Pablo Ozuna. 3 strikeouts in the game, but a terrible 4th inning for Jared Washburn as he allows 4 runs as the Sox hit for the cycle. White Sox score 4 runs in the 4th inning to take the lead over the Angels 4-2 and shelter from the storm. A concert for the Gulf Coast is coming your way. It's a 1-hour special to raise funds for the victims of Hurricane Katrina following tonight's Angels game. And some stars you'll see: Sheryl Crow, Garth Brooks, Paul Simon. U2 will be there, Neil Young. And the Angels start well in the 5th inning as Zach Sorensen gets a base hit. He's going for 2, and he will make it with a stand-up double.
All right. He's checked in the big leagues this year. Got himself an average and a nice swing. He waited on this pitch nicely. It's inside. Just didn't do too much, but just pulled his hands in through the head down the line. That's nice. It's his first double and first hit.
And a good comeback by the Angels because Mark Buehrle is tough to come back on. His ERA at 3. That is 2nd lowest in the American League. Sean Figgins, let's see if they play their small ball style.
Well, down 4 runs.
2.
Oh, excuse me.
There's a base hit to right field.
That's a nice read by Sorensen, too.
Figgins held at first base, but the Angels get their 3rd run on a base hit by Sean Figgins.
All right. That's what they want to do. Jump right back on, help pick Washburn up. Figgy, there's a ball right down the middle. Look at that, how he waited long to hit the ball to the right side to move him over and get him in. That's a great swing on a pitch that a lot of guys will pull. But in that situation, it called for exactly that.
Buehrle with that terrific move. Figgins has been on twice now with a walk and now a single. And Orlando Cabrera goes after the first pitch, and Buehrle guessed that he was thinking fastball, so he goes off speed because Orlando thought he would get fastball because Figgins is at first.
Lots of times the pitcher is going to try to cut down the amount of time it takes to get the ball home with a speedy base runner. Figgy looking for 49. And if you're going to pick a pitch, try to pick one that's going to be a changeup down low like that one. Gives you more time to steal the bag.
Cabrera trying to get Sean Figgins home. Orlando with a 7-game streak. Figgins trying to become the first Angel in the history of the franchise to have 100 runs scored and 50 stolen bases in the same season. He is right at 93 runs scored and 48 steals. 3 weeks left. Cabrera knocks it to 3rd. Ozuna knocks it down. Figgins. What did they say it went off Cabrera?
Well, I don't know why Cabrera didn't run. Foul ball.
It was off Cabrera.
Oh, it was a balk. They called a balk on it.
Okay.
So it was a dead ball. That's what happened. He didn't come to a complete stop.
So Ozzie Guillen will come out to complain.
Yeah, so Cabrera, you know, he heard this. He heard the umpire yell balk. That's why he didn't run. I'm not so sure. See, Buehrle looked right over again as he heard the umpire yell balk. Oh, he said he bounced. He bounced when he came set. Okay, now he comes down and then bounces. Apparently, look at, and he was right on the call. First base umpire. He saw it right away.
Guillen first went to complain to Ron Copa, the home plate umpire. Now he's going to Dan Iasonia, who made the balk call. And the Angels have the tying run now in scoring position with nobody out. Ron Cooper will come out for a visit. He's the pitching coach.
Tony Cooper's done a fantastic job this year with this White Sox staff. He's a no-nonsense type of guy. New Yorker, speaks his mind, is a leader. They like him.
Well, he's done a great job with this staff. They came in #1 in pitching. Lowest earned run average in the American League at 3.55. It's a team that won 83 games last year, Rex, and they finished second in the American League Central. 9 games behind Minnesota, but they have been in first place all 159 games of this season, and it surrounds that great starting pitching and a bullpen that they didn't believe was going to be as good as it has been. Well, the balk decision allows the Angels to have Figgins at second base, and here they are. Chicago #1, Oakland second. The Angels are fourth, but not far behind after throwing a shutout against the Boston Red Sox last night.
Uribe was sneaking in behind Figgins trying to pick him off, and he waited for Birdie to step off. Birdie didn't. He went home, and therefore that left the shortstop position wide open, but he threw a changeup way away.
Cabrera to right field, and this will tie the game.
All right, Angels right back in it now. They'll take the balk, and there's the knock. Okay, Cabrera knew with nobody out, he's going to shoot that ball to the right side. So far, situational hitting's been excellent by the Angels. Another ball right down the middle, just like Sean Figgins. This is the way the Angels are going to win the West this year. By timely hits, situational hitting, being perfect. Executing guys, that are on base, as far as moving the runner along, bunts, those type of things.
And now Garrett Anderson ropes one to center field. Cabrera stops at second base, and the Angels have 4 straight hits off Burley for the second time in the game. HUD, they have 8 hits in the game, 4 straight singles in the first inning, and then he settled down and started retiring Angels, and now 4 straight hits again.
Oh, this is a big boost for Washburn. Washburn's been a hard luck pitcher all year long with 11 no decisions, and gave up 4 runs in the 4th inning, and the Angels coming right back.
Burley has not been as strong, although he has been excellent in the second half, but not as strong as his brilliant first half when he won 10 games. Vlad Guerrero comes up. In the second half, he is 5-4 with a very respectable 3.86 earned run average, but he did go through a stretch that cost him a little bit.
Perfect situation for a 3-run bomb. This is what the Angels need. They need somebody who can step up and deliver a big blow, especially in a nice inning like this. Double 3 singles.
They have to bunch so many hits together to get their runs home. Hit sharply to the first baseman, Konerko. They've got one, and safe at first is Guerrero, as Burley could not touch the bag.
The Angels still alive. It's a nice play by Blum. Blum, they picked up a few weeks ago from the San Diego Padres to play a little bit of different positions. Now at first base, this is not an easy play, but he made it look easy. Comes right at him, turns and fires right away. Perfect throw. Had Burley able to get to the base, they would have had Vladdy easily. You can see he missed there and missed with his swipe, and Griffin, the first base coach, Alfredo, making sure to point that out. Angels will take the breaks any way they can get them.
And now Molina wants to keep that ball off the ground. Burley, though, very good at enticing batters to hit the ball on the ground. And Molina, though, gets it in the air, but to Jermaine Dye. Will Cabrera go? He comes and does not go. Dye has a tremendous arm, and 2 out.
Yeah, I didn't think that was deep enough. Dye, he's Got 9 outfield assists this year. He's strong. Ron Renicky knows that.
Angels trying to break that 4-4 tie. They had strung 4 straight hits together, a double by Sorensen, and then 3 straight singles by Figgins, Cabrera, and Anderson. But Guerrero reached on the fielder's choice. Molina flies to right field, not deep enough to break that 4-4 tie, and Darren Erstad comes up. He is 2 for 2. And now 7 for 18 off Burley. Luis Vizcaíno starting to warm up in the White Sox bullpen. Burley's thrown 71 pitches. That's not a bad number, as he's almost through 5. They obviously feel like he doesn't have his best stuff or best command. He gets a strike across against Erstad.
He's leaving some balls out over the plate, that's for sure. Erstad taking a look at where Blum's playing at first base.
Back up the middle, Burley has it. Throws out Erstad, but the Angels scored 2 in the 5th to tie this game at 4-all. We're at U.S. Cellular Field in Chicago, Illinois. The best team in the American League West, the Angels, against the best in the Central, the Chicago White Sox. Tied at 4. First of a 3-game series. They'll go again tomorrow afternoon. John Garland against question mark. Could be Colon, could be Escobar, could be Joe Saunders. Sunday, Orlando Hernandez against John Lackey.
I watched Escobar go out to the bullpen in between innings last inning, and that told me that looks like they're probably going to lean towards Saunders, which is not a bad thing. Saunders had a real nice major league debut earlier in the season for the Angels in a spot start. And Escobar, he's a valuable commodity for the Angels in the back end of that bullpen now.
Washburn has thrown 80 pitches. There's a ground ball sharply struck to Darren Erstad, and there's one out. Iguchi is now 0 for 3. Hey, this week, Fox NFL Sunday returns with exciting doubleheader action, beginning with Clinton Portis leading the Redskins into Chicago to take on the Bears, or Drew Bledsoe and the Cowboys try to stop LaDainian Tomlinson and the Chargers, or other regional action. It all begins this week at 9 a.m. Pacific on Fox. There they are, the Bears, and the Redskins. Well, the commissioner of the Angels Fantasy League draft is Jared Washburn, and he has taken great pride in winning the championship 2 seasons.
Yep, Lackey won last year.
Left field, Juan Rivera, and Carl Everett is out for the 3rd time.
Wash will take that 1 pitch, 1 out any day, especially now with 82 pitches thrown. But that Angels coming back, putting 2 more on the board. This is good sign for their offense, and giving Washburn a little bit of comfort there. He's saying, all right, man, you guys are seeing me in this game now. He's coming out and doing exactly what he wants to do. Try to shut them down before they gain any momentum.
He's thrown 85 total pitches, but 35 came in that 4-run 4th inning. So like you said, Escobar going down there, and the Angels may need him. And I like that situation with Escobar in the bullpen, because all of a sudden you've got an outstanding pitcher who can help you 3 times a week rather than once a week.
And Joe Saunders is a safe call based on what he did in his last outing. He looked good. He had no problem with nerves or anything. That was at home. Pressure's a little bit greater at home than it is on the road. There's this guy Konerko again. Boy, Wash got away with that one. Wants to keep that ball down. Plus, he fell behind. That was a 2-0 pitch that was right down the middle. Guy who's hot like this, got to be careful.
And he always hits the Angels well. That's why it's a surprise. You look down, you go, how could this guy be hitting 279? Because he hits it like 800 against the Angels. Always has been a good hitter, former 1st-round pick of the Dodgers. Again, Washburn up in the strike zone, but in enough that Paul couldn't do much with it, and it's a 2-2 count. Now, Konerko is 29 years old, out of Phoenix, Arizona. This is his 8th big league season. Real leader on the team now. Mark Buehrle was talking about Konerko, and he said guys notice that Paul takes care of business every day. When there's trouble in the clubhouse, Paul's the first guy there to say, hey, we don't play that way.
Plus he has good plate discipline too. He's in the top 10 in walks, 68 coming into this game. See how he's doing a little visualization right there. He's trying to focus on this next pitch. Wash wants to make sure to keep it down whatever pitch he decides to throw. And we see if he'll throw a splitty.
No, the fastball, and Konerko figured it out. He bombs one and breaks the 4-4 tie with a home run, 2 left.
That's just not a smart pitch right there. You can tell Konerko, he's been all over the ball tonight. A double in this first at bat, a double in this second, and now a ding dong on a pitch right down the middle. So, with 2 outs, that's just on a tee. With 2 outs, so you go ahead and walk him, pitch around him, make him swing out of the zone if you will.
Yeah, because Aaron Rowan has not been hot of late. He has been struggling.
It's not a good pitch selection there.
And here is Aaron Rowan. He's flied out and walked, scored a run in that 4-run fourth. So the White Sox come right back to take the lead at 5-4. This has been the other difference in Chicago this year over the Angels. They are the best team in 1-run games. 30 and 15. The Angels are 26 and 24. And you flip that around, and the Angels are running away with the West, and the White Sox are contending with the Cleveland Indians for the Central Championship. Aaron Rowan.
But Black's going to call time.
Rex, this is the most runs that Jared Washburn has allowed in a game since May 8th.
Yeah, and the most runs that his team has given him in quite some time. So, I mean, that last at bat, that was uncalled for, really. I mean, the guy's red hot like that. You don't throw him a cookie right down the middle. You're asking for trouble. I don't know what that thinking was all about between Benji and Wash there.
Just bad location, probably trying to get it in or up, and he missed with his location. But the last time he gave up more than 4 runs in a game was May 8th against Detroit in a 10-1 loss. He only lasted 2 1/3 innings of that game, and Konerko has just been on fire of late. He's hit in 13 of his last 14. He has now 5 home runs his last 6 games. Rowan goes to left field, pretty deep, but not deep enough, and Rivera is there and makes the catch. But Paul Konerko breaks the 4-4 tie with a rocket off Washburn. Well, Mark Buehrle has himself the lead again, but last inning he could not protect a 4-2 lead as the Angels came back with 2 to tie it. Now Konerko's home run has given the Sox a 5-4 edge. Juan Rivera will step to the plate. He is 0 for 2, popping up to short and grounding into a 6-4-3 double play. Ball 1. Buehrle's now thrown 73 pitches. He is starting his 6th inning. He is gunning for his 16th win of the year. I mean, he is at the top in just about everything. First in innings pitched, second in earned run average, second in opponents grounding into double plays, second in pickoffs this year. A big reason why Chicago has the lowest earned run average in the American League at 3.55. They and the Angels probably have the best and deepest starting rotations. Meantime, the Oakland A's, they are jumping all over Texas. It's now 8-4, bottom of the 5th, and that is Zito against Dominguez. Dominguez has been knocked out of the game. He's trying to win their second straight game, and if they win and the Angels lose, there will be a tie for first place in the AL West with just 23 games to go. 22 after tonight. Rivera with a line smash to Pablo Ozuna.
Tough break there for Juan. Juan looking to get in there after hitting it into a double play. That last at bat, he got a nice stroke on that one, hit it hard, couldn't quite get it elevated enough.
Rob Quinlan up. He goes after a pitch and lifts it high in the air, right center field. Back goes Dye, and Rob Quinlan ties the game at 5.
Another pick-me-up for Washburn. Quinlan pulls out his 4th home run of the season. All of them off of lefties. Look at that. He's talking to it. You could tell Aaron Rowan, he put his head down and just started running to the gap. He knew it was tagged pretty well.
So that's twice now the Angels have come back. They were down 4-2 and tied it. Zach Sorensen lifts it out of play, and they were down 5-4 and now have tied it.
All right for 20 now. Sorensen wants to get up there and see if he can get on base again. Hit a double in his last at bat.
Rex, the Angels only play close games, only edge of your seat games. I mean, we were on the edge of our seat all 3 games in Boston. The Angels lost 2 of the 3 games, but they were in all 3. Remarkable game 1 where David Ortiz had a walk-off home run, game winner in the 9th. Sorensen strikes out against Burley, and then last night 3-0, but twice the Red Sox had the bases loaded 8th and 9th innings. Shields and Rodriguez. I mean, Fenway Park was buzzing. Great game.
Well, I'm sure that if the Angels get off of this long road trip, they'll be looking for some good home cooking and great fans with just 10 home games remaining at the Big A. Tigers, Texas Rangers, and Tampa Bay.
Sean Figgins up. Breaking ball misses.
There should be some good crowds here this weekend.
Well, they said all 3 would be better than 30,000 fans, but they also had one earlier this week, Rex. Only 17,000 fans for a team that is 87-52 and what is it, 35 games over 500. They should get more here at U.S. Cellular. Figgins pops it up. This should be the final out of the 6th, but the Angels tie it on Rob Quinlan's 4th home run of the year. A solo shot to right center.
He just stepped all over it. Nice.
League battling at U.S. Cellular. Esteban Yan comes in for Jared Washburn to pitch his 42nd game, trying to protect a 5-5 tie and let the Angels hit in the top of the 7th inning, but he will have to face Jermaine Dye, A.J. Pierzynski, and Juan Uribe. The 30-year-old right-hander from the Dominican Republic digs in. He lives now in San Pedro de Macorís, which is really the capital for shortstops. There are a lot of shortstops from San Pedro de Macorís. Jermaine Dye will lead it off.
Nothing wrong with that last pitch. I wonder where that missed. Esteban likes to stay down in the zone right there. He wants to get ahead of these guys. There it is. Another good pitch.
Erstad there gets it to Yan, and 1 man out to start the 6th inning.
Pound the strike zone. When you come out of that pen, that's the key. Get ahead. Don't fall behind. The hitter knows what's coming. Has a better chance of putting it on. He's got a good little slider and a split finger he'll also use.
Rex, did that ball have a little extra spin? Because it looked like Erstad was struggling to read it.
Yeah. Yep, Dye hit it off the end of his bat. That's a difficult play for a fielder. That ball spinning like that because it hits your glove and takes off.
A.J. Pierzynski.
Okay, watch it now. He squibs it. Okay, that's off the end of his bat. Took a funny hop there, and then once it hits your glove, though, that's when you really have to close it in the pocket, or it'll hit your glove and spin out lots of times.
Pierzynski 0 for 2, but his ground out gave the Chicago White Sox a 3-2 lead back in the 4th inning. Uribe would follow with a home run. Good pitch by Jan. Pierzynski down in the count, 1 ball 2 strikes. A.J. Pierzynski picked up Chicago's first year with A.J. He has been to 2 postseasons with the Minnesota Twins. Last year he was with the San Francisco Giants. And Jan just working him off speed, and A.J. trying to pull the baseball. He knocks his side of his helmet saying, "What are you swinging at?" And strikes out.
Watching Esteban Jan, he normally just stays with his split finger, but that's a good changeup right there. He also will throw an occasional change, and that's what he's been using here effectively in this at bat. That's a beauty. Esteban looking good.
Now he will face the red hot Juan Uribe.
If you're going to miss right there.
Uribe is 2 for 2 in the game, including a home run. He is now 15 for his last 29. Batting over 500. What's he doing hitting 8th?
Well, they try. Ian tries to space his players through the lineup just like Mike Scioscia does. Try to find the hot combination.
Did he go? No, they say he did not go.
Yeah, there's a homer by Washburn. Elevated, belt high, waited on it. Threw his hand, snuck it over the wall. Now, Esteban Jan, this count might be 3-0, but he hasn't missed on hardly anything. I mean, this, I don't know. Now, he missed. That's the first one he's really missed on, but umpire seems to be squeezing Esteban.
Kelvin Escobar starting to warm up for the Angels. Mike Scioscia is hoping the Halos can take the lead in the 7th, get Escobar out there, maybe for a couple of innings, because Scott Shields threw a lot yesterday, and then Frankie Rodriguez worked out of a bases loaded situation that he got himself in the 9th. Bud Black coming out for the visit. He will face Jeff Blum. I'm not sure if Jan has faced Jeff before. Blum was with the San Diego Padres organization until July 31st and then acquired. Got to watch out for Blum's power. He's got pretty good power. He's hit 1 home run for the White Sox, but hit 5 for San Diego in a very limited number of at-bats.
Well, he's a good pickup for them because he can spell any one of their starters. He played 6 different positions in 2003, and in 04 he played all infield positions. He could play some outfield as well, but mainly infield is his specialty.
He grew up in Chino, which is Ron Renicky territory, but went to the University of California, Berkeley. Teammate of Orlando Cabrera and Vladimir Guerrero with the Montreal Expos. Pops it up. Cabrera wants it, so his former Expo teammate pops it up to Orlando, and Jan with a solid 6th inning. Angel fans here at U.S. Cellular Field in Chicago. This week it's an exciting triple-header beginning with Tulsa taking on the 16th ranked Oklahoma Sooners as we get back into college football on FSN West. Then after the College Football Saturday kickoff show presented by Kyocera, Boise State battles Oregon State, followed by New Mexico State taking on Colorado. It all begins tomorrow at 9:30 Pacific only on FSN West. Former UCLA Bruin Matt Moore now the starting quarterback at Oregon State, and he had a great opener throwing for over 300 yards. Well, here we go, a 5-5 game, top of the 7th inning. Orlando Cabrera will face a new pitcher. It is right-hander Cliff Polite, who has been one of their best setup guys this year. Had a fabulous first half. Has a 2.17 earned run average. His 1.02 ERA at the break was the lowest by a Sox reliever since Juan Agosto's 1.00 mark in 1983.
Hitters look for the fastball, and that's what Cabrera was looking for there, and he gave him the slider. He's got a 92 to 96 mile-an-hour heater.
Cabrera hits it pretty well to left field. Back goes Carl Everett at the wall. He leaps and robs Cabrera of a home run.
Just another foot and he would have had it. Now this ball leaves his bat. He liked it. He thought it was good. But Carl Everett did a nice job of going back to the wall, tracking it, leaping up, and robbed it. That's a good play. Anytime you can save a point, that's good. Cabrera says, nope, I need to do a few more push-ups. Maybe a little more rice and beans for lunch today would have been good for him.
Well, Garrett Anderson has not had a home run since August 2nd. Why not now? He's been way down in the power department, just 3 home runs and 17 RBIs since the All-Star break, but 2 for 3 in this game. Garrett opening up his front foot a little bit. He's been so closed that pitchers have been jamming him inside.
Well, you know, that's going to help you when you open up that front side some and get into that inside pitch. It's going to clear an easier path for your hands to get through. Your hips are already open. That's what Mickey Hatch has been trying to get Garrett to do. There's an off-speed pitch coming.
Catches that outside corner.
Polite's going to go with a fastball, slider, and a changeup. Those are his 3 pitches. That last one was a changeup on the corner and a nice located pitch.
Opponents are hitting just 168 off Polite this year. Garrett sends it to second base. Iguchi has it, throws out GA, and 2 out. Well, now you get a guy who has done his push-ups. Not saying Cabrera hasn't, but this guy's pretty strong. He's coming to the plate now, and Vlad Guerrero, and he has 28 big flies this year, 95 driven in.
They're going to put him on. They're not going to even mess with his muscles.
Can you believe this? 2 out, intentional walk. It'll be the 22nd intentional walk by Vlad Guerrero this year. So
Bengie Molina says, all right, you know what? Go ahead and do that. I'm going to hurt you. That's what you're saying to yourself. In this situation, you get 4 pitches to watch him intentionally walk the batter ahead of you. So you gear up right now and you want to make them pay.
After 2 were out in the first inning, the Angels put together 4 straight hits. Anderson, Guerrero, Molina, and Erstad.
You know, Guillen was saying, watch out for Vladdy, he'll run.
He's 12 for 13 this year.
Yep, he's got a real nice percentage, but he picks his spots usually. With 2 outs, Bengie's hoping he gets the same pitch that Orlando Cabrera got, because he can drive him out. I remember his first home run was a big fly here, wasn't it, Bengie Molina?
I believe so. And wasn't that the game that Ramon Ortiz pitched?
Yep.
May have been Ramon's first win.
He's got it in him.
Well, he was thinking about it, but it came up and in, so he backs off a 1-0 count. Molina is a hitting guy. He has just 7 hits, though, in his last 40 at bats.
Got plenty of time to get hot. He got a nice big RBI single in the first inning. Checked in there. It was a ball above his belt even. It was a pitch elevated, but he jammed it to right center. He's looking to drive one out here.
Two balls and no strikes. He showed very good power, taking the ball to the right side earlier in the game in the 3rd inning. But Jermaine Dye ran it down, and then with a man at third base didn't hit it far enough to get Vlad Guerrero, or rather, excuse me, Orlando Cabrera home from third base in the 5th.
No, and you know, when he hit that ball to right field there, I could tell the ball was carrying good to right. And sure enough, and we've seen some home runs fly out to right.
Again, up and in, and a 3-0 count with Erstad waiting on deck. Erstad 2 for 3, and he's hit the ball sharply all 3 times.
Definitely give him the green light.
Chicago has out-homered the Angels 2-1 in the game, and like you said, Rex, there's that one area right center, the ball really carrying well for Uribe and Quinlan's home runs.
There you go. Take a rip. 3-0. You know that fastball's coming. You're a guy who can hit it out of the park like Bengie. I like that. Let him hit it. And you know, just because they give you the green light doesn't mean you have to swing at it. And when you do swing 3-0, you want to let your manager know that you're taking a rip doing it, or else they'll take the green light off. That's just what you want.
There it goes. The pitch is swung on, popped up, foul territory. Ozuna takes care of it, and the Angels' threat is done in the 7th inning. A 5-5 game, bottom of the 7th inning. Mike Scioscia going with Kelvin Escobar, who made his first relief appearance Tuesday night at Boston since May 15, 2003 against Tampa Bay. And he worked out of a 2-on, 1-out jam through an inning and 2/3. Gave up 1 hit, no runs, 1 walk, and a couple of strikeouts. And Rex, his command with all of his pitches was outstanding.
No, and I think that it's a smart decision by Mike Scioscia to go with Joe Saunders tomorrow, because Escobar can be very valuable at the back end of this bullpen. Let him go an inning or 2. Hopefully, Angels can get 1 up and then bring in Frankie. But Escobar is really good with that fastball at 95. He's got a slider that he'll use and a devastating changeup and split finger combination that he has great control and great command with. So this is a strong arm the Angels knew they had, but he had to get the shave that bone chip and a little spur he had in that elbow, and he's back and he looks good.
Well, he will face the top of the order in Pablo Ozuna, Tadahito Iguchi, and Carl Everett here in the bottom of the 7th inning. Ozuna goes after the first pitch, fouls it off, strike 1. Like you said, Calvin underwent surgery to shave down the bone spur and remove bone chips from his right elbow back on June 29th. He has been on the DL 3 times this year because of problems in the right elbow, but pitched very well even in pain. Now he's healthy, and he could be a big addition for the Angels the last 3 weeks of the season.
Well, you know, that'll help him right there with Ozuna trying to bunt. And if you want to try a bunt, you want to do it with no strikes on you, so you have a couple more strikes left. Now Ozuna's facing either a changeup or a splitty. Those are his strikeout pitches.
And both of them are among the best in baseball. When we talk to scouts. Reach for that one. Cabrera surrounds it. Quick toss. Got a nice play by Orlando Cabrera.
Yeah, that was a split finger. Ozuna did a good job of just getting the bat on that one. All he was trying to do was do that. But Cabrera coming in, you know, he's on the full dead run charge right here. Okay. And he's hoping the ball didn't take a bad hop. He used 2 hands just in case the ball did climb up his glove. It didn't. That's a good solid play.
He, Miguel Tejada, and Derek Jeter have to be the leading candidates for Gold Glove this year, and Orlando has the fewest errors of any of the 3. He's just played remarkable defense in the second half of the season. Acrobatic defense. Here's the 0-1, and it is hit in the air, foul. Strike 2 to Iguchi.
That's it. That's the key. Get him down in the count early. A changeup and a fastball.
Iguchi saw a lot of those over in Japan. He is a rookie, but he's 30 years old and spent a lot of years winning 2 Japanese titles the last 2 seasons. Competed in the Olympics and the Summer Games in Atlanta. In there, strike 3.
Yeah, that surprised Iguchi. He wasn't expecting a fastball to come in there like that. He was looking for something on, you know, a little off-speed pitch, but Kelvin goes right in there. He's throwing darts. Yeah, that's right down Broadway. Got to go.
How about that move by Ron Culpa, the home plate umpire?
He's upset at himself for that. See, now look at Everett now batting from the left side. What a difference in stances. He's closed up from the left side, batting left-handed. But he also will use a flamingo leg kick. He'll pick up his leg a little bit higher, and he has more movement. You didn't see that from the right side of the plate. He'll almost turn that front foot right there. He'll turn it in just to help keep him closed. And that's a similar starting batting stance as Darryl Strawberry used to have. Very similar. He would point that front toe in. Same type of movement upper body to get some kind of rhythm going.
3 balls, 1 strike. In the wild card, Cleveland has a wild card lead over the New York Yankees now by 1 game as the Tribe wins their game with Minnesota 4-2. Meantime, New York is beating Boston 8-4 in the 7th. In their 3-2. Tribe has won 5 straight now, while New York lost 2 of 3 to Tampa Bay. The Devil Rays, how about the D Rays, 11-5 against the Yankees this year?
Dominated them.
Chases one in the dirt and a strikeout. Escobar with 2 Ks and a shutout 7th. We head to the 8th inning. The Angels will come back with Darren Erstad, Juan Rivera, and Rob Quinlan.
He's toyed with it. Jack in the Box game reset. Excuse me. Here we are. Benji Molina checked in early in that first inning. Knocked in a run. And then here come the White Sox. They dropped 4 runs in the 4th inning off of Washburn. That solo shot there. And then Konerko connected with a solo shot. Got it all tied up here. Quinlan wasn't done. He says, hey, I can go opposite field with the best of them.
And that home run tied the game. We are locked up at 5, top of the 8th inning. Cliff Polite stays in the game. He will face Darren Erstad, Juan Rivera, and Rob Quinlan. Erstad 2 for 3 with a pair of singles. Takes ball 1 from Polite. Darren lined a single to center field that drove in a run in the first, and on an 0-2 count then lined a single to left field to start a rally in the 4th, but he was erased on a Rivera double play. Juan will be up next. One and one.
That fastball's the one you want. It's the one that's a little bit easier to hit. Slider and his changeup are his secondary pitches.
Down the left field line, but foul.
Oh, man.
How about this? Maicer Asturias, who was out for 7 to 10 days with a contusion problem. He has gone to the on-deck circle to pinch hit for Juan Rivera, so it's good to see him healthy.
Just got a piece of it. It's a changeup. That's why early in the count, off of Polite, you've got to be looking fastball all the way. Because he knows he's going to try to get ahead with that pitch. He's going to leave one out over the middle.
And he's never had a season like the one he has had this year, Cliff Polite. 31 years old out of St. Louis. This is his 6th big league season. His career major league ERA was 4.5.
It's coming in.
2.5 under. And he strikes out Darren Erstad on a good fastball inside at 92 miles an hour.
Yeah, they were. Brzezinski, when he gave the sign, he started looking over there to the right side of the field, see if they're in the right position because he knew it was coming in. That's a good pitch. Snuck that one in on him.
Well, the Angels are going to take Asturias back. Apparently, that was if Erstad reaches, they were going to have Maicer bunt him over, so they'll stay with the power of Juan Rivera with his ability to change the game with one swing of the bat. He has 11 home runs this year. The Angels won the final game of their series at Fenway Park yesterday, 3-0. And there is a strike on the outside corner.
It'll get me over slider there. Sometimes after you throw one just like where you want it right there, you'll duplicate it, throw it again. 8 of his 11 homers are off of righties. Hope he came back with a fastball. Had a little bit of late life to it.
Former Angel Bobby Jenks warming up in the bullpen with the left-hander Neil Kotz. Jenks was a middle round pick around the 6th round for the Angels and had some tough personal issues. He went on that one, and the count is 1-2. And the Angels did not protect him on the 40-man roster because they had to make room for Kendry Morales when they signed the young star from Cuba. Jenks has been a big ad, has an explosive fastball.
Polite doing a pretty good job holding it down, holding the Angels right where they are. 1-2. Just to get a piece of that one.
One 0 for 3, popping up, grounding into a double play, and lining out to Pablo Ozuna. Looked like he had a 2-base hit, but Ozuna leaped high to spear the shot, and that was the first out of the 6th inning. Quinlan followed with a home run. Just off the corner. Tough pitch to take.
Sure is. You got to have a real good idea where the outside part of the plate is. Take your chances.
A 5-5 game. Angels scored 2 in the first, and then after Chicago scored 4 times in the fourth, they came back to tie it in the fifth. Chicago went ahead in the fifth, and the Angels tied it in the sixth. 3-2.
Good job of being patient now and looking for a ball he can drive. 3-2. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be a fastball, because Polite's shown a nice command with that slider. You still, even the slider, if you see it break, you don't want to give up on it. You want to go ahead and swing through it if it's out over the plate.
He strikes out Juan Rivera, and Polite strikes out the first 2 Angels he faces here in the 8th inning.
If he stayed with that off-speed pitch, that was a changeup instead of the slider. He's done a nice job. You get to see Rivera where he hesitated just a second, and it got by him. Good pitch. Changed speed just enough, and that's what that changeup is designed for, just to throw that hitter's timing off.
Rob Quinlan tied the game with his home run in the 6th. He's up, and he does not bite at first pitch slider. Again outside, 2-0. After Polite got the first 2 men out, he intentionally walked Vlad Guerrero in the 7th and got Benji Molina on a pop-up to the third baseman. Now he's fallen behind Rob Quinlan, giving them a good hitter's count.
We're looking all over that fastball right now. That's what Quinlan is expecting to get. We're going to try to keep it on the corner.
3-0.
Okay. That body language by Polite says, oh, okay, a little bit desperate here. The hitter feeds off of that. Turn him loose. Gets a ball he likes. Rip it.
He takes down low ball 4, so Quinlan reaches with 2 outs here in the top of the 8th inning.
So Sorensen took a little peek over his shoulder to make sure Socha wasn't calling him back for a pinch hitter. He'll bat from the left side of the plate now.
Zach Sorensen had a big double to start the 5th inning for the Angels when they scored 2 runs to tie the game at 4. Don Cooper comes out for another visit with his right-hander Cliff Polite. Polite has been one of their setup guys this year and working the 7th and 8th inning of this game. And kids, log on to AngelsBaseball.com and enter for your chance to win one of many Angels fantasy baseball prizes, such as honorary bat kid, guest PA announcer, guest radio broadcaster, and more during the Angels' 3rd annual Salute to Kids Night at the ballpark on Saturday, September 24th. All entries must be received by September 19th. Angels, when they come home, they face Detroit, Texas, and Tampa Bay, and that will be September 15th through the 25th.
Situation like this, Cooper's saying, hey, look, don't let this guy hurt us. Now go right after him.
Sorensen had one out over the middle of the plate, fouled it straight back.
He has a chance to do something special, Zach does. Not going to get a whole lot of starts left the rest of the season, but when he's in there, he wants to do something. He already hit a nice double and scored in the 5th.
He doesn't have that much power. Had just 2 home runs at Salt Lake City this year, but did have a .303 batting average.
And if he could pull one down that line by Blum at first base, or just find a gap.
Now he's down in the count, 0-2.
Sorensen, he's a gamer. He's a guy who plays hard, hustles all the time. Those are the things you got to do when you're a backup player, and he does them well. Quinlan does not have a stolen base this year. He's been caught once.
Quinlan goes. The pitch is swung on, foul back. Sorensen just protecting the plate. And so Rob has to come back. He had a good jump, but he's too close to take. Sorensen stays alive.
Yeah, I mean, he was really leaning at first base. He was trying to get that jump. And this is a nice job, okay? Anything close with 2 strikes, you don't want to be called out looking. So if you got to get a piece of it and let the bat go, you do it. Watch Quinlan look at him. He's going, oh, he's off.
Just in case Sorensen does hit it down the line or find a gap, he could score Rob Quinlan from first base and break this 5-5 tie. Another great matchup after the Angels won 1 of 3 from Boston at Fenway Park. Quinlan again goes, and the pitch is swung on, looped towards center field. On comes the center fielder. It will drop in front of Aaron Rowan, and the Angels have Quinlan at third, with Zach Sorensen coming through with his 2nd hit of the game. A bloop single to center field.
Hey, that's an excellent at bat right there. He fought him and battled him. He threw that bat just to foul that last one off, and got a piece of this one and just doinked it in over Uribe's head. That pitch is down, but see, that's why some hitters like this are dangerous. You know, he's not a power guy. He's a guy that can hurt you a little bit, even though there are 2 outs. They're looking for a big hit now, and I think Guillen's going to make a pitching change.
He'll want to bring the left-hander in to change Sean Figgins around and have him bat from the right side. Figgins' batting average has been going up from the right side after really finding tough times early in the season, but right now a .227 hitter from the right side, and does have a base hit and a run driven in and a run scored in tonight's game. It's Neil Kotz to face Sean Figgins when we come back. Shelter from the Storm, a concert for the Gulf Coast. It's a 1-hour special to raise funds for the victims of Hurricane Katrina. Following tonight's game, you can see that. Jack Nicholson will be one of the hosts of it, Morgan Freeman, and some of the artists, Paul Simon, Garth Brooks, U2, Neil Young, Sheryl Crow, Randy Newman. Outstanding effort to help those in need in the Gulf Coast. Well, the new pitcher for the Chicago White Sox will be young Neil Kotz, 25-year-old lefty. He's been outstanding this year, an ERA of .203, and it's been even better since the All-Star break. Look at the opponents. 167 batting average. That is #1, the lowest batting average against by any American League reliever. Sean Figgins goes to right field on the first pitch he sees and fouls it out of play. Sean hungry to get after that fastball.
That's right. Looking for a hero here. The reason Guillen made that move is Figgy's a .227 hitter from the right side of the plate versus a .316 left-handed. So he brings Kotz in, who's going to feature a fastball anywhere from 90 to 93. Curveball, slider, and a changeup he'll use. And he's a guy who's done extremely well this year. They like him so much they're thinking about putting him in the rotation if they have to next year. He's matured nicely for him. He's aggressive. He's made a big leap forward this year, Donnie Cooper said, his pitching coach.
Figgins hits it sharply, but right at Iguchi. Sean is out, so are the Angels. They threaten but do not score. And when we come back, Kelvin Escobar must face Paul Konerko, who has been tremendous tonight. Jack in the Box game summary. Jared Washburn went 5 innings, gave up 5 runs, the most runs he has allowed in a game since May 8th. And Paul Konerko, he has been on fire. 2 doubles and a solo home run. The Sox 3-1 against the Angels in 1-run games this year. As a matter of fact, the Angels have lost 4 games. 3 of the losses by 1 run, and the other was by a 4-2 score. So they play them close between Chicago and the Angels. And Konerko will lead things off against Kelvin Escobar. He takes ball 1.
Back in the 5th inning, Washburn threw him a cookie right down the middle. It was a 3rd straight hit he's gotten off of Washburn. A little curtain call. Escobar wants to make sure to keep the ball down and away from him. Out of that corner.
And that was on a 3-2 count when he hammered the home run with 2 out and nobody on.
I'm sure Washburn, if he had to do it again, he wouldn't locate it there.
That home run by Paul was his 200th in his Chicago White Sox career. Been hitting a lot lately. 5 home runs last 6 games.
He's their premium slugger. Escobar tried to change up there, it didn't work.
Escobar will have to face 2 of the premium sluggers in this inning, and Konerko and later Jermaine Dye. Wow. Can you be on pitches any better than this guy has been in this game?
That's a well-located pitch there. See, it was inside enough to where he couldn't keep it fair, but it was just to show him in there to set up a strikeout away. See that? That's up in his zone. He pulled his hands, but that top hand dominant allowed to hook, and he knew it.
And he knows Escobar has that great split finger and also that great changeup. Went after him with the fastball, and it's popped up to the right side. Vlad Guerrero in foul territory. Does he have room? Yes, he does. And the hottest hitter for Chicago is the first out of the bottom of the 8th inning.
All right. He challenged him. You know, you're going to do that. When you have a fastball, 93, 94 miles an hour, you can get away with that. Washburn's fastball is more like 88 to 90. You can catch that. But he took a chance, and Vladdy made a nice catch. It wasn't routine either. He had to run a long way and have good concentration.
Aaron Rowan. Rowan's home runs down a bit. 24 home runs last year and a .310 average this year, just 12. And a lot of strikeouts, and he was handed the everyday center field job at the beginning of the season. Upstairs 2-0. Rowan's been on once with a walk and scored a run back in the 4th inning. How about that? He's sitting dead red fastball, and Escobar with so many pitches throws a split finger on the outside, and waving in front of it is Aaron Rowan for a 2-1 count. Well, that'll put some thoughts in your mind what he is going to throw. Fastball.
Yep, so you throw guys inside fastballs to set them up away. And also, with that change in splitting, those pitches kind of work down in the zone. The split finger has a bigger break. Now we'll see what Benji throws him. Calls him here. Fastball in.
Three and 2.
That's nice. 94. It's a good spot.
Well, he threw him a 2-0 split finger pitch away after coming back twice inside. We'll see. Stays upstairs. On the changeup. Rowan works a 1-out walk. Go-ahead man is on. An outstanding hitter is coming to the plate in Jermaine Dye. A triple in 2 runs back in the 4th inning that tied the game. Dye and Konerko have been their 2 hottest hitters of late. Jermaine came in with a .365 average and 5 home runs the last 2 weeks of the season.
Now Rowan, he's got 13 stolen bases. Been caught 5 times. Molina has a 28% of throwing out runners.
And Escobar is not that quick home and does not have a great move to first base. Angels seeing almost a mirror image of themselves outside the power in the Chicago White Sox. It's almost the go-go Sox style back in the late 50s. In there. Go-Go Sox had great speed with Luis Aparicio, a tremendous shortstop, late 50s, early 60s. Fastball that runs inside, and everybody talked about Boston's lack of success for so many years. They hadn't won a World Series since 1918. How about the Chicago White Sox? They haven't won a World Series since 1917. Boston got theirs last year. So trying to get off the schneid. Cubs haven't won a World Series since 1908. Jenks and Dustin Hermanson now throwing. Jenks in case the score remains tied, and Hermanson has been their closer this year. Angels will have the middle of the order coming up in the top of the 9th inning. Guy back up the middle. Cabrera has it, touches second, goes to first, an inning-ending double play. Cabrera continues his outstanding defense, and the Angels hold a 5-5 tie as we head to the 9th here in Chicago.
Oh, that's a nice double play ball right there. Routine procedure. Out.
Here in Chicago, Illinois, the Angels and White Sox are tied at 5. The Halos have 11 hits, the White Sox 7, and they will face a former Angel. He never made it to the big leagues, but Bobby Jenks had an explosive fastball in the minor leagues, and this year he has been terrific since being called up from the minor leagues. 2.16 ERA, and he has gone 9 straight outings without allowing an earned run. He said he would be fired up to face guys who he played with and competed with in spring trainings in the past.
Well, he's been clocked at 102 this year. 98 to 100. He's got 4 pitches now. He'll mainly stay with his fastball, curveball, but he's got a slider and a changeup as well.
Big kid at 6 feet 3 inches tall and 260 pounds. Faces Orlando Cabrera, Garrett Anderson, and Vladimir Guerrero. He's 24 years old.
Went with his slider first pitch there. Cabrera and all hitters got to be looking for that #1 fastball.
And he throws it right down the middle at 98 miles an hour.
That's what you look for. He's got a nice smooth delivery, but he also has a screw in his elbow where they had to fix a fracture he had. And he had some physical problems when he was with the Angels, and a couple other off the field problems, and they just decided they would take a chance. But I'm talking to Jenks today, very classy. He says, hey, look, that's just baseball. Those things happen.
Cabrera sends it back up the middle for a base hit, and the Angels start the 9th inning well against Bobby Jenks.
Jenks is going to have to go right through the teeth of the Angels order here. Garrett Anderson loves the fastball, and he's overdue for a big fly.
Garrett Anderson has not hit a home run since August 2nd against Sidney Ponson and the Baltimore Orioles. And in the past, he's always been a brilliant fastball hitter. Bobby Jenks was claimed off waivers from the Angels back on December 17th. And the Angels needed room on the roster, the 40-man roster, to sign Kendry Morales, who was the Cuban defector who had an outstanding year at Rancho Cucamonga and Arkansas this year. Fastball at the knees. Garrett takes it. Wanted to take a look at Bobby Jenks, and it came in about 97.
Jenks isn't going to worry too much about Cabrera, because when you throw that hard, that ball gets to the home plate quickly. He does pick his leg up. He doesn't slide step at all.
outside. 1 ball, 1 strike. Cabrera has 18 steals this year, and he's only been caught 2 times.
Okay, watch Garrett now. He's really rushing out there. And he knows facing a guy that throws 98, that ball's going to get to you. You don't have to rush out there. You can just put your hands on it with a good hand swing, and that ball will jump.
Waves at a heater at 98 up in the zone, and now Garrett down to the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
You throw that hard, you don't have to swing hard.
Garrett swings and misses and strikes out.
Okay, he stayed with that fastball on the outer half of the plate. That got there in a hurry. Garrett just barely got a tip of it. Looked like it landed right in Brzezinski's glove.
So now Vladimir Guerrero. Guerrero was thinking about going. Did not put the brakes on, trying to get into the mind of young Bobby Jenks.
Jenks hasn't thrown over once, and you know he may not have that good a move, and that's a smart thing. If you don't have a good move, don't throw over. You might have
a good running count here for Orlando Cabrera. He does not go, and Vladdy swings and sends it foul, so the count goes to 1-1. That was a 99-mile-an-hour fastball that Guerrero was trying to square up.
Vladdy had a rip. See, now he's short to the ball. He has a long follow through, but his hands are short right to the ball. That's a move. That's not too bad. First one Cabrera's seen. Now he looks at Alfredo Griffin and says, hey, what'd you think there? And that, you know, when you see a guy's move, that helps you. You're like, okay, that's probably his best move. Now I know. I could get another step. Stealing a base is not as important as Vladdy squaring one up somewhere.
Because he'll intentionally walk Guerrero. Now he's down in the count. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Jenks' problems in the past were with wildness, injuries, personal challenges off the field. But he's gotten them together. He made the big leagues with the White Sox. Now has one of the best hitters in the game, down to the count 1-2. Guerrero trying to step up, get a key hit, and give the Angels the lead here in the 9th.
Going to put a wrinkle on one here.
Guerrero strikes out. Cabrera steals second base, and there are 2 outs now in the 9th.
It's okay. That's a big stolen base. Power on power. Sometimes Vladdy, they get him, and sometimes he gets them. This time Cabrera with a nice jump there. Gets into second base with 2 outs. That's a nice curveball. Boy, Vladdy had no chance there after pumping that 99 in there. Dropping a hammer. That's a difficult pitch to get a piece of.
Now one of the Angels' best clutch hitters. Benji Molina will step up. He has an RBI single in this game. Very good with the fastball because he doesn't try and do too much. Always just focuses up the middle, tries to hit the ball right back at the pitcher. Out of play right side.
That's good aggressive swing. That's what you want to do, and Benji knows all about it. With 2 outs and runners in scoring position, good hitter. Aaron Rowan in center field, he's shortened up, so has Dye. They're expecting a little base hit and a play at the plate. Cabrera wants to make sure he gets a good secondary lead at second base. That's the lead you get after the pitch is thrown.
And there's a shot to right, but right at Jermaine Dye. That would have given the Angels the lead. But Benji lines out and will head to the last of the 9th. 5-5 score. Bottom of the 9th inning. Angels and White Sox. The Angels hit 1 home run tonight. Throughout the season, Coors Brewing Company will be making a donation to Navidad and El Barrio for each Angel home run hit. Navidad and El Barrio delivers more than 20,000 food baskets to needy families in Southern California each year. Well, we have one more sit on the edge of your seat game for the Angels. 5-5 in the ninth. Every single time the White Sox and Angels meet, it is a close game. They split at the Big A back in May. They lost 2 of 3 in Chicago May 30th through June 1st. So Mike Scioscia hoping that Kelvin Escobar can work another shutout inning in the ninth, as he will face the bottom of the order. A.J. Pierzynski, Juan Uribe, Jeff Blum.
But if you go on statistics, the Sox have a better record in one-run games. They're 30-15.
Pierzynski to right field. Guerrero makes the catch, and there's one out on one pitch in the ninth inning.
Well, that was a split finger. Pierzynski looked like he knew it was coming. He stayed on that one well. Angels are 26-24 in one-run games. So,
and the Angels have played in the second most one-run games in the American League. Minnesota's played in 53, and they are 26-27. But Chicago, and you turn those records around, Hud, because you know how close they can be. The Angels are running away with the West, and Chicago's battling the Indians in the American League Central. But that hasn't been the case, as the White Sox bullpen second best in the American League. And they have been able to close out games well. Angels bullpen has struggled, but now they get Escobar back. They've struggled since shortly after the break.
And you know, Escobar, he made 3 rehab starts down in the minors. He got his pitch count up to 75, so he's able to go 3 innings with no problem. And this is a real good test for Escobar. 28th pitch thrown.
Uribe with a wicked rip, pops it up. Cabrera, where Rob Freeman was, makes the catch, and 2 outs now in the ninth inning.
What a nice addition to the bullpen Escobar is. And I like Mike Scioscia's decision to stay with him in the pen and give that start to Saunders tomorrow. This is a big win. Angels want to get it, especially on the road, to open up this 3-game series against a team they could see in October.
Oakland is leading Texas in the bottom of the ninth inning, 9-5. That's game 1 of their series in Arlington. Jeff Blum, the batter, left-handed batter, and he takes strike 1 right down Broadway.
See, it's just hard to square up Escobar, and you can't think along with him. That's a changeup first pitch. First pitch he threw to Pierzynski was a split finger. He's got command with those pitches.
Out of play, 0-2, and he's been in front of just about every single White Sox that he's faced. He has allowed just 1 base runner. That was the walk to Aaron Rowan on a 3-2 count in the 8th inning. Struck out 2 batters in his 2 2/3 innings of work. Make it 3 as he strikes out Jeff Blum quite easily. What a job by Kelvin Escobar. Now the Angels have a chance to take the lead as we head to extra innings here at Chicago, Illinois.
Escobar, man, Angels scratch him a run here. He deserves this win.
Here in Chicago, Illinois, the Angels with a 5-5 game. We head to the 10th inning, continuing this road trip as the Angels have 3 in Chicago, 3 in Seattle before they head home for a 9-game homestand, the final regular season homestand of the year. Darren Erstad will lead things off. He is 2 for 4 in the game. He faces Bobby Jenks and takes strike 1 with a fastball. Erstad in his career .341 hitter against the White Sox. Jenks struck out 2 batters in the 9th. Good ones in Anderson and Guerrero. Strike 2. He threw a nasty hook to strike out Vlad Guerrero in that 9th inning.
Yep, that's curve. You got a slider and a change as well, but he mainly stays with those 2 pitches. When you throw that hard, really that's all you need, that pitch there, but you drop that curve and it probably will be coming here.
There it is, and he strikes him out. So he's punched out 3 Angels in this game.
Hey, this is a good one too. It's not just like a little rolling curve. That's got some bite to it. Drops about 2 feet. Jinx has given up a couple home runs this year. Now one to a righty and one to a lefty. So they were going to put Esteuris up there again, and they already had Esteuris there, but he's going to continue to stay with Juan Rivera. He had Esteuris on deck, Mike Scioscia did, to see if Erstad was going to get on base.
Well, Juan Rivera, very good power with 11 home runs this year, and he is very right center field conscious. The ball is carrying well to right center. Uribe hit a home run there. Rob Quinlan hit a home run there. So if you just let Jenks' fastball do the work, one has the ability to hit it out that way. And he gets a first pitch breaking ball for strike one.
So he dropped the slider. So we've seen 3 nice pitches by Jinx so far in this one. Probably stay fastball away.
And Rivera takes it away down the right field line, just barely foul for strike two. So the Angels have squared up again, a couple against Jenks, one by Benji Molina that almost gave him the lead, but he lined out to right field. That would have scored Orlando Cabrera, who had led off the ninth with a single.
But now 0-2. You got to look fastball and just try to protect with the curve, try to just get a piece of it if he does drop the hammer.
Angel fans here trying to see their team stay in first place in the West. It is the hammer, and it is strike three. 4 strikeouts for Bobby Jenks.
Wow. Okay, here it is again. This is what you call a yellow hammer, man. That's got great break to it. Brzezinski catches it in the heel of his glove. Rivera is toast. And you know, he talked about, Jinx did before the game, about how he had no animosity or anxieties about the Angels. You know, he was just happy that he's fit with the White Sox, and that's how baseball goes. And he said all the right things, which was nice. He's a kid that's happy about getting a chance to pitch in the big leagues. Doesn't matter what team it's for.
Well, if he can get ahead the way he has been able to get ahead in the first 2 innings, he can have quite a career.
You bet he can.
Especially you've got a fastball that's 99, 100 miles an hour. Wow.
And you know, that I talked about that screw that they inserted to fix that fracture. It's still in there and will always be there.
Look at the way he is spotting his overpowering fastball and breaking balls at times. Angels will face the top of the order when they come to the plate in the last of the 10th inning. Fastball away. Struck him out. Struck out the side and has struck out 5 Angels in the first 2 innings of his work in the 9th and the 10th inning.
Boy, this is some kind of petrol.
Five our score. Angels and White Sox going to the bottom of the 10th inning here in Chicago. And Shelter from the Storm, a concert for the Gulf Coast after the game. It's a 1-hour special to raise funds for the victims of Hurricane Katrina following tonight's Angels game. And Jack Nicholson will be part of that, hosting. Paul Simon, Randy Newman, Sheryl Crow, Neil Young, U2 will be there to sing, and Garth Brooks as well. Many, many more to help raise money for the victims of Hurricane Katrina. Well, one of the stars of last night's game, Scott Shields, comes out of the bullpen. He worked 1 inning last night, struck out 3, and 2 were Manny Ramirez and David Ortiz. The other was Edgar Renteria. We will face left-handed batter here who lifts one to Juan Rivera in left field.
That's Ross Glode. Came off the pinch hit. He's 0 for 1. Now he's 0 for 2 this year. So he's swinging at the first pitch. Shields has a tough act to follow with Escobar going 3 perfect innings. Looked great. Going to try to shut him down here.
Scott with a 69th game this year. second most in the American League behind Mike Timlin of the Boston Red Sox. And now first pitch swinging is Tadahito Iguchi, who is 0 for 4 I should say, with 3 strikeouts. First 2 were against Jared Washburn, and the last against Kelvin Escobar, who went 3 shutout innings. Good breaking ball, strike 2, but we're seeing two teams mirror images of one another, Hud. Both great rotations, and the Angels with potentially a terrific bullpen. But they have been a little shaky since the All-Star break. They're hoping to change things.
Well, they already have with the addition of Escobar. That's really boosted. It's kind of knocked Donnelly out of a spot right now for the time being, but the Angels are looking to do everything they can to try to win.
Mark Teixeira just hit a 3-run home run for the Texas Rangers, and now the Rangers are within 1 of the Oakland A's. It's Oakland 9, Texas 8, last of the 9th inning.
Now, not that the Angels can't win with Donnelly in there. They certainly have won their share of games. But when you move Escobar in there, someone's got to step out.
Tadaguchi has hit 2 game-winning home runs late in ball games this year, once in the 9th, once in the 12th.
Challenging.
He walks.
Don't want any free passes. Just missed a little bit high.
Mike Scioscia resting Adam Kennedy today. He just said Adam needed to get off his feet. A little tired. Started Zach Sorensen. Zach's played a fine second base. Also contributed 2 hits.
And Gucci, he's a base stealer. He's got 14 bags this year. Has been caught 5 times.
Angels snapped a 6-game road losing streak yesterday with a 3-1 win over Boston. Everett takes outside.
Not by much. It's a good spot. Got to be careful with Carl Everett. Anything out over. So you're going to want to make sure to stay on the corners or hard in.
Keep it down.
In, yeah, and down. And that 2-seam fastball induces a lot of ground ball double plays.
All of a sudden, Scott getting wild. He walked the man, and that has been the challenge for both Shields and Rodriguez of late, and they have struggled. Well, it is a final in Texas as Oakland beats Texas 9-8, and they have moved within a game and a half of the Indians in the wild card chase, and right now within a half game of the Angels. So unless the Angels win this game, they will be tied. If they lose to Chicago, it will be a tie at 78-62. So the Halos hoping to extend it to the 11th. Everett, very good power, 22 home runs this year. Better power this side than the right side.
Everett is grounded into 9 double plays this year. Shields would love to see number 10. Get him out of this one.
3 balls and no strikes.
Like Scioscia saying, okay, might want to be careful with this pitch too, because Everett could be on his own. He could have the green light. Spot a fastball on the outside corner.
And he walks Carl Everett on 4 pitches. So you go back-to-back walks after getting the first man out, and now he must face the most dangerous batter in the Chicago lineup in Paul Konerko, who is 3 for 4 in the game with 2 doubles and a home run. So Bud Black comes out for a visit as Shields has suddenly gone wild, walking Iguchi, walking Everett, and it's incredible how many times the walks absolutely have come back to haunt the Angels. Their bullpen is 4-11 with 10 blown saves since the All-Star break. They did fire 6 straight shutout innings the last 2 games against the Boston Red Sox, but Shields is going to have to work out of a jam again after he worked out of a bases loaded jam last night against Boston.
Now he can do it, but hopefully the head mechanic Bud Black, who's out there talking to him, can help get him right.
The White Sox have not won an extra inning game at home this year. The Angels 10 losses, most by any team in the major leagues. And that's surprising with their bullpen success in recent years.
There's one out. Shields has a chance to get out of it. Konerko, he can be a lane ball candidate as well. He's grounded into 8 double plays this year.
Ball 1.
Shields going with the slider. Just whatever you do, whatever pitches you want to throw, just try to command them down in the zone. Make the hitter lift them. Good arms in the outfield. Juan Rivera's got a good arm in left.
In there, 1 ball, 1 strike. Playing Konerko straight up in the outfield because of his ability to hit the ball from foul line to foul line. He had a double to right field, a double to right center, and a home run to left. And on an incredible streak of late. Line drive. Zach Sorensen goes to first, and it's a double play.
Zach Sorensen coming out with his first start for the Halos at second base with a couple knocks and makes a really nice catch. And also the throw was even better. Look at that. Erstad had to get back to the base. Got him.
Five score going to the 11th inning. Bobby Jenks stays in the game. Here is that line out by Paul Konerko. Another line drive. And Zach Sorensen doubles up the man at first base. And the Angels send it to the 11th inning.
Okay, sinking liner at you is not an easy catch. He stayed with it with 2 hands. Caught it. Flipped it over to first base. Timely double play.
Casey Kochman comes up to hit against Bobby Jenks. They were teammates at Arkansas a few years ago. And Casey goes after the first pitch he sees and drives it to center field. Enough room for Aaron Rowan, who makes the catch, and 1 man out. Bobby Jenks has allowed 1 base run. The leadoff man, Orlando Cabrera, the first man he faced back in the 9th inning. But he has struck out 4 of the 5 after that and just got Casey Kochman on a long fly ball to center field.
He pinch hit for Sorensen right there. Zach with an excellent start.
Sean Figgins up. Be a great guy to get on because he has the ability to run, and Jenks doesn't hold base runners that well. Ball 1 inside to Figgins, who has been on twice with a walk and a single. He drove in his 48th run of the year and also scored his 94th run back in the 5th inning.
He's right on that one. What you want is to put a short, quick swing on that Jenks fastball.
You want to put yourself in the position to face that hook. Now he does have him down in the count, 1-2. Jenks has shown amazing control with that breaking ball. He struck out Guerrero with it. Also got Juan Rivera.
No, but it's unpleasant after seeing a hard fastball like that.
He didn't get that breaking ball over, so the count goes even at 2-2 to Sean Figgins. For the 11th inning, lead went back and forth. The Angels went up 2-0 in the first inning. Chicago came back with 4 in the 4th. Angels would tie it in the 5th, and then Chicago went in front on the home run by Paul Konerko, but Rob Quinlan tied it in the 6th inning with a home run, and that's the last we've seen a run scored. Bullpens have done a great job. Escobar, Shields for the Angels, Bobby Jenks. And there's a shot down the line as he came with his fastball.
Figgy turning on some 97.
Figgins again out in front as Jenks came hard inside at 98 miles an hour. Sean very short, quick to the ball. Now if Jenks makes a mistake, Figgins does have the ability to power him out of the yard, particularly left side of the plate. 6 home runs this year, but he just wants to reach any way possible. Pierzynski thought off speed. No, Jenks says I want the heater. And he misses, and Figgins will walk. So you might see Sean Figgins going here. Orlando Cabrera stole a base on Bobby Jenks in the 9th inning. A 1-out walk to a man who has 48 stolen bases this year. So Pierzynski will give Figgins a look.
It's a nice at bat by Figgins.
Orlando Cabrera up. Figgins goes. There's the pitch and dropped by Pierzynski. Steal number 49 and the go-ahead run in scoring position with just 1 man out in the 11th inning. Right down Broadway with the fastball. It's a 1-1 count to Orlando Cabrera. Orlando had that base hit back in the 5th inning that tied the game. Also singled to open the 9th off Bobby Jenks, taking it right back up the middle. Any single will score this guy as long as it's hit to the outfield. He has such great speed. A breaking ball on a 1-1 count, and that surprised Orlando. He was sitting dead red. Try a pickoff play at second base, but Figgins gets back in time. Great opening to this series, a 3-game series here at U.S. Cellular Field in Chicago.
Figgins has done a good job of getting into scoring position.
Foul back. Sean was going on that pitch as well, trying to move to third. Try and get in the mind of Bobby Jenks, divide his attention. Maybe he'll make a mistake with a pitch out over that Cabrera can drive and give the Angels the lead here in game 1 of the series. Tomorrow it'll be John Garland going against either Bartolo Colon or Joe Saunders. We have not been told. More likely Saunders, and then Sunday Hernandez against Lackey. Figgins reached on the walk, stole his 49th base this year, trying to score his 94th run, 95th run. He's already scored 1 tonight. That was up and in, and Orlando fought it off. Jenks with the count 1 ball 2 strikes. He has gone to that hook to get several strikeouts already in this game. He has 5 strikeouts in just 2 1/3 innings of work. Orlando is a tough guy to strike out. He has K just 44 times this year. If you don't face too many fastballs at 97, 98, 99 miles an hour. And there's a breaking ball that Orlando fights off beautifully. Because of Jenks' great fastball, they're giving Cabrera a lot of room in left center field. Aaron Rowan is shallow and pulled around towards the right side. Straight up in the infield. The Angels told his defense knock everything down in the infield. Don't let Figgins come around third and score. And again, hit foul by Orlando Cabrera. So a really good battle between Bobby Jenks and Orlando Cabrera. He's fighting off those 2 tough curve balls.
He's doing exactly what he wants to do, just getting a piece of that breaking ball.
In the dirt, a 2-2 count. And the Angels sluggers waiting on deck, Garrett Anderson and Vlad Guerrero, waiting for their second look at Bobby Jenks. Mike Scioscia, you see, he wants to make sure of the count with home plate umpire Ron Kulpa. And that count is 2-2, even though up on the scoreboard here at the ballpark it says 1 ball 2 strikes. Now they've got it up correctly at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Again in the dirt, blocked greatly by A.J. Pierzynski. Figgins was thinking about chasing and racing to third base, but A.J. kept it right in front of him.
What a tremendous at bat Cabrera's got going here. Nice block. Figgy went about halfway, put the brakes on, and went back. This is a tremendous AB right here. This is what you want, a money at bat. Extra inning game.
He hits it to left field. Carl Everett makes the catch, and after that long duel, Cabrera is turned back. Sean Figgins goes back to second base, and the Angels are hoping their veteran Garrett Anderson can come through, who has more RBIs than any Angel in the history of the franchise, trying to break a 5-5 tie here in the 11th inning. Jenks struck out Garrett Anderson on power fastballs his first time up. Don Cooper comes out for a visit. Now the right-hander warming up in the pen is Luis Vizcaíno. Chicago has a great bullpen. They are ranked second in the American League with a 3.1 earned run average. And it is all over in Arlington, Texas. Oakland beats Texas 9-8, that final score. So the Angels need to win this game to keep their 1-game lead. Currently it's a half game up. Figgins at second base, representing the go-ahead run.
One lousy single away from getting the lead.
Anderson takes a rip and fouls it straight back. He was on that fastball at 98 miles an hour. Well, he's been terrific with runners in scoring position with 4 doubles this year. In the air, center field, Aaron Rowan. Bobby Jenks 3 shutout innings. A tremendous job against the team he came up with, the Angels. He holds the score at 5. Angels and White Sox game 1 of this series against the Sox for the Halos at U.S. Cellular Field. The Angels with 5 runs on 12 hits, but shut out by Bobby Jenks the last 3 innings. Been left up to the bullpens, and now the Angels will go with Brendan Donnelly, working his 56th game this year. He has 8 wins, looking for number 9 and the first of this series. And this was an organization he came up with. Brendan Donnelly, selected by the White Sox in the 27th round of the 1992 free agent draft.
He's got 44 strikeouts, 14 walks. That's not too shabby. No walks here, though. Adam Kennedy back in there to play some defense. Mike Scioscia was giving him the night off the best he could, because tomorrow a 12:20 start. That's a pretty early morning for the Angels.
Aaron Rowan will lead things off. He has walked twice in the game, and that's not part of his style. He only came in with 24 total walks and over 400 at-bats this year. Rowan will lead things off. Jermaine Dye to follow, and then A.J. Pierzynski. All 3 have good power.
Angels stay here all night if they have to get a W. Want to continue to keep their 1-game lead. Oakland 1.
Fastball misses high to Aaron Rowan.
Donnelly's going to try to spot that fastball and get ahead. He has some sinking action to it. Didn't on that pitch there, but he's got a slider and a split finger.
Two and 0. The success of Kelvin Escobar for his 3 innings was jumping ahead in the count, and he was constantly 0-1, 0-2, or 1-2. Shields fell behind. He walked a couple, got out on a wonderful double play that ended the 10th. Right down Broadway, 2-1. Rowan has 12 home runs this year. Grew up in Southern California, of course. Went to Cal State Fullerton. Down low, 3-1.
He wants to keep the ball down there, but certainly don't want to put anybody on, especially Rowan.
It has been the battle of the bullpen since that 6th and 7th inning. 6 for the Angels, and they have shut out the White Sox the rest of the way. Rowan went after ball 4, and it's a 3-2 count now.
Yeah, that helped Donnelly there. We saw a shot of Mike Scioscia. He looked a little bit concerned. He knows the importance of getting ahead of hitters here this particular time of the game. Extra innings. You know, this is their last ups here. All they got to do is scratch a run.
Walked him.
Three walks by Rowan tonight. Like you said, that's not in his game, but he'll take it. He's like a leadoff hitter here.
Well, back on May 31st, Chicago beat Brendan Donnelly and the Angels with this walk-off home run to left field. The Angels bullpen causing their own problems since the All-Star break with so many walks that have come back to hurt them. And Shields was able to work out of a jam because of fortune, because Konerko hit a screaming line drive at Sorensen, who turned it into an inning-ending double play. Now Dye, how about this, bunting, trying to get Rowan into scoring position.
Wow. I don't know if I necessarily agree with this, especially what Dye did to Donnelly a few months ago. You know, you got your power hitter, 27 home runs, and you're asking him to square around and bunt. He doesn't do this very often. Okay, everything was okay except the barrel dropped below the hands, and you fouled it off. You want to keep the barrel up to get the ball down. Now, I'd be shocked to see him do it again.
One ball, one strike.
Ian gave him one pitch to get the ball down. Joey Cora, third base coach. Now he's flashing the signs over there to Rowan and to Dye. Rowan has the ability to steal bases. You know, at some point you got to take a chance to get him in scoring position.
He has 13 stolen base, but look at the time it's been since the last sacrifice bunt by Jermaine Dye. 4 years.
That's why I was a little bit surprised to see their slugger bunt.
I don't know if he did that on his own. Rowan was thinking about going. Dye pops it up right side. Vlad Guerrero should take care of this. He does. Aaron does not go, and there's one man out in the last of the 11th inning. So the Angels trying to wiggle out of another jam as Chicago, and the Angels have really thrown great bullpens out there. You go back, Rex, to the 6th inning as Esteban Yan came out for a shutout 6th. Escobar went 3 shutout innings. Shields in the 10th. And now Donnelly trying to go in the 11th inning.
Nope, they've done their job.
I mean, that would be 12 straight shutout innings if they can get through this one and get it to the 12th inning. Runner goes. There's the throw to second base, and Rowan safe with a steal.
There's the chance you take to get him into scoring position, especially with one out there, and it was successful. Benji's throw was a little bit off the bag. Cabrera had to reach. That's a good jump, too. That's a straight steal all the way. Cabrera tried to keep that tag on him. You see, if the throw's on the other side of the base, he might have had a chance at him.
So the winning run is at second base for the Chicago White Sox with one out in the 11th inning. And the count to A.J. Pierzynski is 1 ball, no strikes. So they will walk Pierzynski to set up the double play. You have a red-hot Juan Uribe on deck, but the Angels need 1 pitch, 2 out.
Ooh, man, that got a little bit too close to the plate.
Yeah, Donnelly almost threw one back to the screen in Oakland earlier this year. He also goosed the throw in Oakland that allowed the tying run to score. Mike Scioscia has seen some wild things happen this year. Another close one to the strike zone. Well, they do get the intentional pass, so Pierzynski is on, and it'll be a righty-righty situation with Mike Scioscia's Brendan Donnelly facing Juan Uribe. And Uribe in this game has been on 3 times with a single, a home run, and a walk. And you go back the last 9 games, Rex, he is 15 for his last 30. So a sizzling 500 average for Juan Uribe.
Well, Donnelly's hoping that he sizzles one right to Cabrera on a 1 hopper. 2 hopper, get out of the inning again like they did in the 10th. Konerko get the ball to Zach Sorensen. They got the double play. Now Adam Kennedy keeping Aaron Rowan close at second base. He's given up a lot of ground there on the right side.
Donnelly checks him and brings it home. It's strike 1 inside corner to Uribe.
Really makes it tough on Kennedy here. You don't want to sacrifice too much ground to give him on that right side for a base hit in trying to keep Rowan close. You see him. He's got all this area over here that I'm sure Uribe sees. But Kennedy, when Donnelly starts his windup, he hustles back over there to fill that hole best he can.
Comes back inside with misses. Uribe, you can see what he's doing with that left leg. He was going through a downtime earlier this year, and he just simply found this in batting practice. He decided to lift his leg, do a little timing device, and he'll do it just before the pitch as well. Hit sharply into left field. They're going to send Aaron Rowan. Here's the throw by Juan Rivera. It is in time. Got him! What a throw by Rivera to keep this game in the 11th.
Rivera uncorked a shot to home. I mean, this was right on the line and on the money. Okay, here's a base hit. He catches it right after he hits third, but this is all the way on the air, and it couldn't be better. Any throw offline one way or another, this game's over. But again, the Angels finding a way to stay in it. Perfect application of the tag. Quinlan trying to get in cutoff position. That's a do or die throw. And he's out. Beautiful throw. 5th outfield assist this year for Juan Rivera. Come up big. And Bud Black says, all right, now we picked you up once. We're counting on you to get this guy Blum out.
A game-saving play by Juan Rivera in left field. Buddy Black comes out for the visit with Brendan Donnelly. First base is open, but Donnelly's command has not been that great. He walked the leadoff man, Aaron Rowan, who was just thrown out at the plate. So they've got to pitch to Jeff Blum. If it was Paul Konerko, might be a different story. But he has to go after Jeff Blum. Eleventh inning, 2 out. Angels trying to take it to number 12.
Missed somewhere. Good pitch right there. That's right where you want it. Blum got a base hit back in the 4th inning.
Again, it's low, and it is a 2-0 count. So obviously the instructions from Bud Black, just keep the ball down. Well, he has thrown 2 nice ones down in the zone. The Angels bullpen has suffered 6 walk-off losses since the All-Star break. Mike Scioscia trying to avoid that here. Send it to the 12th and win it with Vlad Guerrero coming up to lead it off. Blum pops it foul, backing out of play, so it's a 2-1 count.
Blum got a pitch he can handle there, and he just fouled it back.
Quinlan, you see, just off the bag, he'll back up. Donnelly toes the rubber. Cabrera deep at short. Same with Adam Kennedy, and same with Darren Erstad, almost at the cut of the outfield grass. Again, he got a pitch up in the zone, sent it straight back to the screen, and it's a 2-2 count. Figgins, he's very shallow in left center field, Rex.
He's looking for the lousy single, or actually anything he can just rob, just in case that ball does try to fall in front of him. But this is a good opportunity right here for a little split finger. Try to get him to swing out of the zone. Hitters want to knock in that winning run. They want to be the hero. They're going to be a little bit aggressive.
That Spitty is in the dirt. You don't want a wild pitch to win the game.
Nope. But you got to get the out.
In the air, right field. Vlad Guerrero gets to it and makes the catch, and we go to the 12th inning. Wow.
Yep, he stayed with the split finger. That was a good choice. Now it was up and up to where it wasn't going to be in the dirt, but Donnelly escapes it. Juan Rivera. Whoa. What a cannon in the opportune time. Game saver. Angels got a chance. Out.
5-5 score, top of the 12th inning. Chicago going with their closer now, Dustin Hermanson, the veteran 32-year-old right-hander from Springfield, Ohio. Now makes his home in Scottsdale, Arizona. Juan Rivera is the reason the Angels have gone to the 12th inning. His great throw from left field caught Aaron Rowan at the plate, and we stay tied at 5. Dustin Hermanson will face Vladimir Guerrero, Benji Molina, and Darren Erstad. Guerrero 1 for 4 with an intentional walk in the game. His base hit came back in the first inning. Hermanson's 52nd game this year. He has terrific numbers. A 1.59 ERA. That is 3rd in the American League. He's 6th in saves with 34, even though this is not a save situation. And there's that good off-speed pitch. And Guerrero swings and misses.
That's a splitter. He's got a fastball that he'll throw anywhere from 89 to 92. He'll sink it. He's got a split finger and a slider.
Vlad Guerrero, though, belts one deep to left center field. And it's off the wall, and Vladdy now has to hustle to second base. There's the throw, and he is safe. Guerrero mad at himself because he was very slow coming out of the batter's box, thinking it was a home run.
Ooh, yeah, Vladdy a little bit embarrassed right now as he kind of went into that trot a little too soon. When he hit it, I thought it was out, but that wind is blowing in. Kind of caught it, see him? He's kind of taking a few steps going into that trot. Heck, as high as that ball was hit, it hit off the base of the wall. It wasn't even close to being out of the park. Could have even had a triple if he'd have been running out of the box.
He almost is thrown out at second base, but the Angels have their lead man on. Very close.
Got that foot in there. That would have been extremely embarrassing had he got thrown out there. Okay, that's all right. It's over. Man on second base, nobody out. Benji's situation is to try to move it.
And Benji gets the bunt down beautifully. Vlad goes to third, and now he's coming home. And here's the throw to the plate, and Guerrero is out. He's safe. He's safe. They missed the tag, and Guerrero scores as he ran through the stop sign set by Ron Roenicke.
Wow, wasn't expected. Vladdy says, you know what? I am going to make up for that little mistake I made by not running out of the box. Benji, perfect bunt. That's perfect. On a fastball up, he deadened it nicely. Plenty of time for Vladdy as he hits third and never stopped. Put the pressure on the throw by Glode. Vladdy out of the way. The tag, he never made the tag. Great call by the umpire. What a slide by Vladdy. Single-handedly, Angels on top by 1. With that single hand touching home plate, Vladdy, he's pumped. What a strange game.
Darren Erstad down the line, foul, and Hud, you can say scouts might be out there saying he made a base running mistake out of the box when he hit the double, and then he made a base running mistake running through a stop sign. Could have been thrown out at the plate, ending a rally. He would have been at third base with 1 out. Instead, it's 6-5 Angels. Go figure this game out.
You know what? I like the aggressiveness of Vladdy. It was a good chance. Now, a perfect throw, and he's dead at the plate.
It's one of those where all the coaching staff's going, no, no, no. Yes, way to go, Vladdy.
It's one of those. And Glode at first base now. See,
he made a great play.
He made the throw up the line a little bit as Przinski just couldn't put the tag on Vladdy. Vladdy went way out of the line. And you can go out of the line at home plate. You can do anything you want to try to score that run, and Vladdy is perfect.
Erstad to left field, Carl Everett. Does Benji get an RBI in that play?
You would think.
Yeah. He does get an RBI, and it is his 62nd of the year.
Rarely see a guy score from second on a bunt.
Well, you know what? He ran as hard as he could from second base to home, but not as hard as he could from first to second.
Just hard to predict this game of baseball. But it was this guy here that got the Angels in this position, Juan Rivera.
You're absolutely right. His tremendous defensive play, and now Aaron Rowan will make the catch. That's the final out, but Vlad Guerrero hit his mad Vlad on the base pass, scoring on this bunt from second base. He's safe. Angels lead 6-5. Vlad Guerrero, maybe that 12th inning theme will be lucky at second and lucky at home. Because in the 11th inning, the Angels were given a chance, a rebate with a base hit that could have won the game. Trying to score Aaron Rowan from second base, but Rivera's great throw caught Rowan at the plate.
This was a money throw. I mean, that was perfect.
Now Vlad Guerrero hits this one and just stands at home plate. Could have had a triple, barely had a double, and then goes through a stop sign and somehow scores on a wild slide around Przinski's tag, and the Angels have a 6-5 lead. But we're not over yet, because the Angels' Francisco Rodriguez has to close it down. This is game number 55 this year. He is 35 for 40 in save opportunities, and he is facing the top of the order. That is Ross Glode, and he throws him a breaking ball, strike 1. Frankie allowed the Red Sox to load the bases yesterday, but worked out of the jam by striking out the side, getting Olerud, Millar, and Pettigini on strikes. but he also gave up a hit and a couple of walks. And that's what Mike Scioscia wants him to eliminate and get through a 1-2-3 inning. Well, the Angels and White Sox, excuse me, sometimes you have to change your socks, and the Angels have gone from red to white in a hurry.
Yeah, in one flight.
But Frankie Rodriguez has tremendous stuff, and now faces Gload, Iguchi, and Everett here in the 12th.
Looking for the punch out. Ooh, don't hit him. Gload came in to pinch hit for Osuna back in the 10th inning. Popped up to left field, stayed in, and you know, had he made a good throw, Vladdy would have been out. Gload had plenty of time. They got the sacrifice. They got the out there. Benji moved him over, but Vladdy kept coming, and Gload forced the throw, and it was up the line.
I just liked his recognition. As soon as he caught the ball at first base, he quickly got out of his glove and to Pierzynski. Outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Frankie does not want to mess around here. Now with the Angels scoring a run on a wild play in the 12th inning.
Poor Mike Scioscia. His emotions have gone up and down this whole game.
Well, these two teams in the Minnesota Twins have played more close games than any team in the American League. The Chicago White Sox with 81 games now decided by 2 runs. The Angels with 75 games decided by 2 runs. This was a 1-run game, and Chicago is 30-15 in 1-run games this year. That's the most wins in the major leagues. 3-2. He had him down in the count. 0-2. But now a 3-2 count.
When you put him on, you got a Gucci who can handle the bat very well coming up next. It's a good sacrifice bunter.
It's never easy with these Angels. He strikes him out on the breaking ball.
All right, Frankie got him to swing out of the zone there. Watch how Frankie falls off hard. That's a nasty breaking ball. Gload wanted to hit his way on. He thought a fastball was coming. He's out. Good recovery by Frankie to come back and get him.
Next, every single game this year with the Angels has just been a tense, hard-fought, grinded-out game. And we get on the plane last night after a 3-0 game, and twice the Angels got out of bases-loaded situations against the Boston Red Sox. And Rory Marcus passes Bud Black in the airplane, and Bud looks up at him and just says, "Just another Halo victory." You know, like it was as easy as that.
That's right. Well, it hasn't been, and the Angels are going to have to be. They're going to. Ooh, that's nice there. Good spot.
Right at the knees.
Angels want to be perfect. They've got to execute and win these games. Oakland won again tonight, so
the Angels win this.
Hold it. They got a chance to hold to 1 game. This guy hasn't given up.
Stayed all 12. The Angels got into Chicago at 2:30 in the morning by the time they got to the hotel. I think he went. Yes, he did. First base umpire rings him up. Van Iasonia and Rodriguez with back-to-back Ks, so the Angels need 1 more out to hold their 1-game lead in the American League West.
All right, see if that bat head went across, and it did. It's that vicious slider that starts up above the belt. Hitters just have a hard time laying off it.
Francisco Rodriguez has to go through the power part of the Chicago lineup now. Carl Everett with 22 home runs and 80 RBIs. He is 0 for 4 with a walk in this game. Walked against Scott Shields. And the Angels bullpen, rock solid. They have right now thrown 6 2/3 innings of shutout baseball since taking over for Jared Washburn in the 6th. He went, and he's down in the count, 0-2 as he tipped the baseball. But a shutout frame by Esteban Yan. Kelvin Escobar went 3 shutout innings. Shields 1, Donnelly 1, And Rodriguez trying to make it one and an Angel victory, which would be their 79th this year.
And even better if they get this last strike is they get to come back in about 12 hours and do it again.
It's one of those split double headers. In the air, left side, Juan Rivera giving chase, but it is foul, out of play. Right now, it's 10:50 local time here in Chicago. It'll be on Big Fox tomorrow in Southern California. You'll be working with Josh Lewin in that game. And it's so important for the Angels when they face a contender, a team in first place, get that first win, and they're trying to nail it down against Chicago. Garland going tomorrow, 17-game winner, either Colon or Joe Saunders. Got him! Angels win game one in dramatic fashion, 6-5 in 12 innings.
What a win. After last night's win in Boston, they shut them out and they grinded a nail biter here. Great execution. Juan Rivera's throw at the plate kept him alive. And Big Daddy Vladdy, an unusual bunt. Molina sacrificed him over and he just kept coming. Vladdy, take a drink of that Gatorade. You're our player of the game.
He always has that innocent grin. And he wins the game. The Angels take it 6-5. It's time to light up that halo, Vladimir, as the Angels win it. Francisco Rodriguez with his 36th save this year. The winning pitcher is Brendan Donnelly. He wins his 9th against just 3 losses, but the Angels bullpen outstanding tonight. 7 shutout innings.
Boy, that's a big boost, too. They've starting to get it back with Escobar in there going 3 strong innings and Frankie closing it down. Donnelly gets the win. Good for him. And Vladdy, way to redeem yourself, Vladdy. Nice going.
It was a crazy ball game, but the Angels take it as K-Rod pays everybody in the 12th.